Shower and 21 with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Hydrotherapy at Physio Extra Marion has individual sessions and classes claimable on private health and NDIS.
Australia's financial misery index is at its highest level since the start of the global financial crisis. More from Christina Hearn.
The country's misery index, which tracks interest rates, inflation and unemployment, is now just short of the point it reached early in the global financial crisis, according to economists at the University of Melbourne. But during the GFC, the misery index increased by 62%. Last year, the same index jumped by 220%. Households are really feeling the pinch when it comes to the family car, according to the Australian Automobile Association. In Melbourne, transport costs rose by $34 per week in the March quarter to just over $500.
The federal government has rejected a revised Greens proposal to get its housing policy passed through Parliament. The Greens have scaled back their demands for the $10 billion housing fund. The party says they'll support it if Labor guarantees at least $2.5 billion a year for social and affordable housing. A former Liberal staffer who was accused of raping Brittany Higgins at Parliament House in Canberra has described the moment the allegations were first aired as a dark day. Criminal charges against Bruce Lerman were dropped and the trial was abandoned due to juror misconduct. No findings were ever made. Mr Lerman's told Seven he didn't commit a crime.
It is a metaphorical version of a nuclear bomb or the world exploding before your eyes. You know, you're being blocked, you're being removed from group chats. I'm an extrovert, or used to be. Now I sort of live under a rock.
Business groups are launching a large-scale campaign to fight changes to IR laws. The advertising blitz will argue the government's same job, same pay reforms will create a red tape minefield. The full details of the proposed changes will be unveiled later this year. A man will face court today following an alleged assault and fire at a home in Karakalinga. Police allege 3 people were bashed minutes before the home went up in flames early yesterday morning. A 37-year-old man has been charged with causing serious harm and arson. India's railway minister has suggested a signal fault led to the rail disaster, with a change in electronic interlocking the likely cause. A report into India's worst rail accident this century is due later, while the death toll has been revised down to 275 after some bodies were counted twice. Prince Harry will give evidence in a phone hacking trial, becoming the first British royal to appear in the witness box since the 1890s. More from Curry-Ann Greenbank.
Last time a senior royal gave evidence in court like this was in 1891. But this week we'll see Prince Harry take on one of Britain's biggest tabloids, the Mirror newspaper group. Prince Harry wants to prove that stories that were written about him over a 2-decade period were illegally obtained, whether through phone hacking or voicemail interception, or the use of private investigators. He'll be taking to the witness box to give evidence under oath. That comes at significant personal risk for him, as we'll open him up to being cross-examined by some of Britain's best lawyers, who will no doubt be asking very probing, very challenging questions about his accounts, all of them in open court, which means it's very public.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Get better bang for your buck with Aussie Broadband this end of financial year at aussiebroadband.com.au.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Kendall. Disappointment for Adelaide defender Tom Doedee, with scans confirming he's set to miss the rest of the season after tearing his ACL. The Crows players will recover today following a 25-point loss to Gold Coast in a result which sees them slip outside the top 8. Across at Alberton, Port Adelaide will focus on the Bulldogs ahead of their clash on Friday night at Marvel Stadium. The Power sit in second spot after round 12 following a club record 9 straight wins, and will consider bringing back Travis Boak, Tom Jonas and also Charlie Dixon. And there were 2 games yesterday to wrap up the round. Richmond 6-point winners against GWS, while Essendon also had a 6-point win against North Melbourne. Let's go to tennis. Big guns Stefanos Tsitsipas, Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic have all progressed to the quarterfinals at the French Open. Craig Gabriel reports from Roland Garros.
After a close first set, Tsitsipas made quick work of the Austrian qualifier Sebastian Ofner 7-5, 6-3, 6-love, and he's into the quarters for the third time and will take on Alcaraz, who was given no trouble by Italian Lorenzo Musetti 6-3, 6-2, 6-2. Alcaraz and Tsitsipas have met 4 times and the Spaniard has won all. Djokovic had the same scoreline as Alcaraz when he beat Juan Pablo Varillas, and Novak will face Karen Khachanov. He beat Lorenzo Sonigo.
And Max Verstappen has taken out the Spanish Formula 1 Grand Prix ahead of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, while Aussie Oscar Piastri was back in 13th. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A possible shower in 21 today. A sunny morning tomorrow, then showers developing in the afternoon, 23. Showers on Wednesday down to 20 and 17 with showers on Thursday. At the moment, 17. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Book a test drive of the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today. Visit gocherry.com.au.
6 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Monday on 5AA Breakfast, the 5th of June. Coming up on the program this morning, Ali Langdon will join us. We'll talk about a long-running story with a very happy resolution in Edwardstown around the jumps that so many years have passed. The kids that originally built the jumps that were bulldozed by the state government department responsible were 11 at the time. Now they're 16. But there's a really happy ending to that story. We're going to talk about it after 8 o'clock today. Lucy's Movie Bowl comes out before 8:30 as well. And, of course, your calls, 8223 You can text us too on the Duttons text line. Lots of massive news around Australia today as well that we're going to jump into. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. Happy Monday. No one ever says Happy Monday. They say Happy Friday, but they should say Happy Monday.
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 No one says Monday.
Monday. No one says Monday.
And if they did, if you had someone in your
Sounds like a
office
Spanish word.
or
Monday.
your workplace that came in going Monday, you'd want to move somewhere else.
Oh, you wouldn't want to work with that guy.
No, you don't want to work with that guy.
The cheery guy.
No.
The jolly person.
How good are Mondays?
Yeah.
No, you don't want to be
They're
next
not-
to that guy.
They're not really that good, are they?
No.
Next Monday's going to be a lot better because no one's, well, apart from the frontline people who always work on public holidays, not bludgers like us, we won't be here. And a lot of people won't be at their normal
3 cheers for the monarch
station either. This is the first King's birthday.
How good's constitutional monarchy?
Oh, we love it.
Yeah.
Always been a fan. Might have voted no in 99. Just got that out of my system at the time. I tell you what, watched a bit of that Prince Andrew documentary last night. That's enough to inflame your latent republicanism if ever you've become all soft and mushy about it and said, well, you know, what difference does it make? Seeing that entitled nonce parading around in his finery. Really, deeply troubling human being, isn't he?
Oh, that's putting it mildly.
He really is a shocker. They played some of the interview, the original BBC interview. That really is some of the most remarkable, ill-advised, like clearly making stuff up in real time. I was at Pizza Express. I remember it clearly. I remember that night. I had the children. I was at Pizza, and she said, "Well, why would you remember that?" I do. And then in the same breath, that's where you get the sweat bombshell too. That's in that very same exchange. He's on fire. He's on fire. That
whole exchange, that interview, almost single-handedly made me think one of the worst jobs on planet Earth would be as a media advisor to the royal family, because clearly they're beyond advice. Some of them,
yeah.
Because no one who knows him would have said, "Hey, you know what's a good idea? I think we need to get out in front of this. Let's put you in front of a camera
Yeah, that's right.
and get you talking at length about these allegations." No human being alive has suggested that's a good idea.
That came out later that there was actually a minder who was sort of screaming, you know, sobbing uncontrollably, lying in front of his car, trying to stop him from going to the studio.
Worst
Just
job.
amazing.
One of the worst jobs in the world.
We need to try to make ourselves happy as Crows supporters this Monday. I've never been more bloody depressed about a football game. And mainly, too, because of Tom Duday.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is just sad. And talking about not being at work, like, you know, when people go on, oh, you know, why do these footballers get paid so much? They get paid so much because it's a brutal way to make a living. And you have to put your whole life on hold in your teens and 20s when everyone else is out sort of, you know, gradually sort of working their way up the ladder or settling down and going, right, okay, this is my sort of 30 to 40 year plan. Like, there's no real certainty as an elite athlete.
What's your best case scenario? Best case, so reserved for people who, I don't know, pick a number, probably 15, 20% of them, is that you play, is your career lasts 10 years, 12 years?
Yeah, if you're lucky.
But you have had to be really good among the elite of what you do that's already an elite field of endeavour.
But I was without wanting to get too maudlin about it, I was thinking, like, imagine like being told, look, you're not going to be able to go to work for the next 6 to 12 months.
Mm.
Like, that's a big change to, well, your entire life, you know.
And he's got the added complication of this is a guy who's done it, and he's out of contract there this year. I
reckon the club should just, sit down and say, listen, we're going to get this fixed, and we're going to look after you. We're going to do the right thing by you. I mean, we've found out the hard way in the past 2 away games. The Adelaide Crows are no good without Tom Doedee in their side.
Mm.
The defence falls apart in a jiffy in his absence. So, and he's made it clear in his conversations with us that he loves Adelaide. His partner loves Adelaide. He's a great bloke. He loves the club. So they should just do the right thing by him and just say, all right, let's just sort this out.
I hope that's what's happened, because that's exactly what should happen.
Yeah.
He tried to come back on. We called the game here on Saturday night. He tried to come back on and did some run-throughs, and so you started thinking, oh, maybe this will be all right. Then they cut to the bench once he got subbed out and he was on the phone.
Mm.
You're not ringing people in your immediate family, or who, I don't know who he was on the phone to, but you're not ringing people on the bench to say, hey, I've just pinged a hamstring, or I got a bone bruise, or I copped a knock and I can't come back on. You're ringing them to tell them something bad's happened.
Because normally you don't see players do that.
You never see them with a phone on the bench.
Is it like it must be a special rule, like it's serious enough for them to be able to ring their partner or their parents or something?
Mm.
Imagine being like the parent or the partner watching that. Like, I mean, we know the guy through work and love him. He's a cracking bloke. He's excellent. And I was just watching at home, and it was just because my wife was at the game, and I texted her going, "What the hell's going on here?" And she's like, "Oh, we don't know." But yeah, it's just, and of course, well done to Port Adelaide. Very different vibe at Alberton. Things that couldn't be chugging along any more swimmingly.
Well, that was a training run. I think they got bored in the second half, Port, of that game. We'll talk about it with Rennie shortly. I think they genuinely got bored.
I didn't watch that game. I was in my wife's absence, being Mr. Mum all weekend with the kids. I've quite enjoyed it, actually. I had my first totally alcohol-free weekend.
You feel good? You look fresh.
Yeah, well, I was just doing G-rated stuff. Like, we made a little plant sale outside the house. The kids made about, I think, $17 selling agapanthus and San Pedro cactuses, and we sold mandarins off the tree. I was selling everything for like next to nothing, but that was turned them into raging capitalists while my wife was away. It was good.
8223 is out. If you could text us on the Duttons text line, let us know what you think about all that's transpired over the weekend, and indeed the things that are knocking around the news cycle today. We're going to jump into a few of those with our news headlines right after this.
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Barossa and Clare has always been well worth the trip, especially with their end of financial year sale on all new, used and demo cars. There's over 120 commercials in stock of all makes and models, with the balance of factory warranty on selected models ready for delivery. Plus, they're offering an additional $1,500 trade-in bonus on all trade-ins. Head to one of Steinborner's 8 locations or visit steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
It's time to raise the bar. If you're organising an event, anything from a small meeting to a grand gala, you'll know there are many things to consider. So trust the experts at Adelaide Convention Centre to help you elevate your vision. With the support from our team at every stage, you'll be amazed at what can happen in turning each aspect into an unforgettable experience for both you and your guests. Contact our team and discover the magic to elevate your vision at Adelaide Convention Centre.
Handmade from Australian pork has to meet Australia's strict quality controls and standards. And while that means us farmers have to jump through hoops, I reckon the taste's worth it. So for true Australian quality ham, just pick a pack with a pink pork logo.
Now, don't let the name fool you. Adelaide Direct Station is maybe all Adelaide and very direct, but they're much more than just stationery.
They're a through and through South Australian owned and operated family business serving our largest businesses for over 25 years.
And they're one of South Australia's largest suppliers of tech products, washroom products, PPE, workplace health and safety equipment, office furniture, food, snacks, beverages, and so much more.
Whatever you need, they've got it, and they'll get it to you faster than you can say please with same-day, 2-hour express delivery. You heard that right. Same-day, 2-hour express delivery.
So head online to browse over 30,000 products and get them delivered direct, quick as a flash.
Visit AdelaideDirectStationers.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Emotive 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
15 after 6. Remember, you can watch along. You can watch along and comment along on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. Nice way to interact with the program live as well. Lots of news headlines this morning. Millions of households are bracing for another interest rate rise. That's right, that happy day, the first Tuesday of the month, is tomorrow. New data from the University of Melbourne reveals the country's financial misery index. God, what a wonderfully named financial index. The financial misery index is that
if you work there, do you get a business card that you're like
FMI.
Head of data at the financial misery index? That'd be a good little chat up line on a Friday night at the local pub, wouldn't it?
FMI, where our motto is FML. Anyway, the financial misery index is at its highest level since the start of the global financial crisis in 2007. A homeowner with a $600,000 mortgage is now paying almost $16,000 more each year.
Yeah.
My God. Economists say whether the Reserve Bank will raise rates tomorrow will be a close call. It was originally considered that they were going to put them on hold, but then some of the more recent data has kicked him into the...
I read somewhere over the weekend that it's 4% likelihood. Now, I reckon it's like much more likely than that. I think, forget about what the current numbers are. Look at the pattern of behaviour from the Reserve Bank board. I think they'd just do it.
I'm at the point I'd be surprised if it doesn't go up.
How are they saying it's 4% likelihood?
They base some probability on what the market's priced in, so it's 4% or it's 24%, and it bounces around. It's kind of, it's voodoo.
But it should be based on human behaviour and politics, not numbers. Well, you've got an outgoing Reserve Bank governor who goes, hey, listen, I'm getting beaten up here. It's my job to keep inflation between 2 and 3%. It's back up to 7 almost. So I'm putting rates up again.
Yeah, I think
quick meeting. We'll be down the pub by 2 o'clock.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has criticised the unsafe manoeuvre that occurred between a Chinese naval ship and US destroyer, saying the incident is concerning. It happened on the final day of his visit to Vietnam, and the PM raised a glass alongside Vietnam's communist leader there. Mr Albanese has promised to strengthen economic, education and security ties between the two countries.
For 50 years, we have worked together to shape that future in our mutual interest. I very much like the Prime Minister's statement that no matter how treacherous a mountain, there is always a path to the peak.
Enigmatic.
Leaked government documents reveal a growing number of people with study visas aren't studying. International students are abandoning university courses for cheaper private colleges and then go on to work instead of study. The memo also reveals the Federal Education Department knew about that issue for the last 18 months but have taken little action. Home Affairs has begun issuing visa cancellations last week to some international students, but it's not clear how many have been handed out.
So what do? Drive Ubers and stuff like that, probably?
Yeah.
Just make a quid and send the money back home. It's interesting, isn't it? Hey, what's going on with the near collision between the battleships in the South China Sea? That's what Albo was alluding to before, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is the equivalent of when, the Russian fighter jet leaks fuel in front of a US surveillance drone. There was actually a near flyby the other day where the Russians said the US were turning on their weapon systems. This is just all part of the saber-rattling, chest-beating.
You started it.
You started it. We've got it. You know what actually is?
Barley's.
The best analogy is, especially for the Taiwan, the Straits
Double
of Taiwan,
barleys.
it is two angry people trying to negotiate each other on the roads. I've got a right to be here. Look at this idiot. What's he doing? Look at this moron.
Get out of my way.
I'm not speeding up.
Bit of high beam.
Yeah, high beam. I'm going to slow up if he's tailgating.
Bit of the up yours.
That's exactly what this is. It's the world politics equivalent.
road rage.
Of road rage.
Road rage in the South China Sea.
Have you seen images of the incredible train derailment in India? It's just awful.
It's a terrible story.
India's railway minister suggested a signal fault led to the rail disaster, with a change in electronic interlocking the likely cause. A report into India's worst rail accident this century is due to come out soon. Meanwhile, the death toll has been revised down to 275.
It's just
after
staggering.
Some bodies were counted twice.
So it's 3 trains hit each other at like a 3-way junction. It's just so sad seeing those aerial shots of it. It's just staggering.
Protected marine parks will make up almost half of Australian oceans as the federal government ramps up conservation efforts. It includes expanding the protected area around Macquarie Island, which sits halfway between Tasmania and Antarctica. Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek says the island is a breeding ground for millions of seabirds, seals and penguins.
This will see the Macquarie Island Marine Park almost triple in size, and it will add an area larger than Germany to the highly protected part of the park.
Good news.
Fantastic. 21 after 6. The weather this morning, these mornings aren't as cool as you would typically think at this time of year.
It was balmy. I had shorts on all weekend. It was great.
16.6 degrees outside at the moment.
Yeah. No, I've just got a normal shirt on today. You've got on the jumper, will you? You softy.
I dressed for the month, not the conditions.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was really warm yesterday, and around both days it was terrific in town.
Well, warmer here than in Brisbane this morning, for example. 22 in Darwin, so it's nicer there. But gee, 16.6 in Adelaide for the 5th of June, when it's been a consistent run of that, has been pretty good. It's not going to get a whole lot warmer today. Top of 21 with a mill of rain about the place. 2 mils tomorrow and up to 23. Wednesday 20, and Wednesday's the real big rain day. 8 to 25 mils of rain on Wednesday, so some serious showers. Thursday, 2 to 7 mils of rain and a max of 17. Friday up to 4 mils of rain and 16 the expected max. Saturday 17 and a possible shower. So the middle part of the week could see some pretty significant falls here in Adelaide.
There's a lot of text rolling in already on the Dutton's text line. One here, great show from Fiddy. It says, guys, I think it was a great win for the Gold Coast Suns. The Crows couldn't keep up with their explosive ball use out of the middle. Is it possible that Rory Sloane will be traded at the end of the year? I don't know if anyone's talking about that.
No, only if Rory Sloane says he wants to go somewhere. There's no way that's happening otherwise.
One here from Mark in Para Hills. Crows home ground bullies, but away ground pansies. Horrible news about the dude. At least he can give more movie reports. Good recovery, dude. One here. Morning, David. Did you watch the Spotlight show on Bruce Learman? No, I didn't. I'm not interested in either of the cheer squads on this front. Thank you for asking. Legally, I think we've done well to keep away from that on our show. Others have not done that and have paid a significant price. Let the courts decide. Felix from Felixstowe says, Pembo, are you giving Blakey material for next Monday's skit after your kid's capitalist weekend? Inadvertently, I guess I am.
They'd be like, you're turning him into Michael J. Fox's character, aren't you, in Family Ties?
Alex P. Keaton.
Alex P. Keaton.
And one here saying, as for Albo, Australians haven't been in a worse financial position, yet all he wants to talk about is The Voice. Thanks for that.
We'll be talking about The Voice after 7 o'clock today because a significant news poll came out this morning that reflects a bit of what we've been talking about that's been coming through on the Dutton's text line. Dutton's, see you at the brand new Dutton's, Mitsubishi, Hyundai and Ram showrooms in Murray Bridge that are now open. Let's talk sport. Tom Red's in the 5AA Breakfast Studio on this Monday morning with his winners and losers. Get better bang for your buck with Aussie Broadband this end of financial year at aussiebroadband.com.au. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Look, let's start with the losers, and you just touched on it. It was so shattering, wasn't it, for Tom Duday, who, you know, is a favourite here, of course, and comes in every week and does a great job. And for the Crows as well, it was, you called it, Will, 35 points to the good and then end up losing by 25. 10-goal turnaround when Miller kicked that goal in the second quarter.
Showtime.
It was unbelievable. But
I was putting the kids to bed, and my wife was at the game. I sent her a text going, how come, Mummy, you're doing all this domestic stuff? You're up there in the sun enjoying this goal fest. By the time I got out from getting the kids properly down, we were like 3 goals behind. And
without trying to put too fine a point on it, but this year there have been 6 games where a side's been 25 points up or more and have lost 6 in the entire competition. The Crows have had 3 of them. So they've had half the games.
The Richmond game and the GWS game.
and the Collingwood game, I reckon.
Collingwood game.
Collingwood game?
Yep.
So
it's a pattern.
Everyone's going to feel Crows fans are going to feel negative coming out of the weekend, and that stat is not going to make anyone feel better. Seeing the Crows drop out of the 8 and be in the pack of we're in some sides that I reckon a lot of fans would have thought the club had moved beyond is going to be disappointing. But that stat tells the story of the Crows this season, I think, and that is that this is a side now that has the raw talent to when they're playing well. And we used to say it at the start of the year when they weren't playing well, and I think it holds true now when they've had another dip. They're capable for about 30 minutes out of a time playing football that would be top four worthy. They play almost every game.
Yeah.
One quarter like a top 4 side. The gap between the best and the worst is the issue right now.
It's a maturity
The ceilings that you can see what the side can be.
No doubt.
You're right. It's a maturity thing. It's a know-how thing. It's probably a bit of a personnel tweak thing too because when they lose the same way every time. That midfield gets beaten up and it got beaten up again, Rennie, by that young Gold Coast side. Noah Anderson and Matt Rowell had their way with the Crows on balls.
Wasn't Matt Rowell amazing?
They're a better side than people give them credit for.
They
the Suns.
absolutely are.
And why is everyone talking about the clock ticking on Stuart G?
Yeah,
why is he the punching bag? He's doing a good job.
It's just low-hanging fruit. I agree.
Hey, without wanting to blame the umpires too, can we just give a shout out to that half when he gave that 50-metre penalty in the last quarter?
Yeah, shocking.
I mean, we were stuffed, but that made sure we were stuffed.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah,
that was
straight after Fogarty kicked that goal.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, no, you've had your fun, Adelaide. You're not getting back into this. It's what it felt like.
That was a shock. That was a mind-boggling decision.
Over officious, wasn't it?
Yep.
You know, it happens 100 times around, and if
we want to treat umpires with respect, well, let's have an explanation for that garbage.
Yeah, that was a poor decision. Jordan De Goey, another big loser from the weekend. He'll get 3 weeks, maybe 4. For that big bump. Yeah, it was a bad one, and probably the West Coast deserve to be called out in the losers for not remonstrating. They are. I mean, this is the one good thing for the Crows. They'll play against a side that has no players, and they could win by 20 goals this week.
Well, I don't know. That third quarter, West Coast showed some real spark.
They've got a few more injuries though as well, but they just cannot take a trick. Their strength and conditioning and fitness staff must be under the torch, surely. The Thunderbirds, that was really disappointing. They lost to the bottom-placed Magpies, so they lose top spot. And the A-League, I think they're a loser from the weekend. I think 26,000 fans for the grand final. They've moved it to Sydney. Just didn't work, and it didn't
stupid.
Didn't look like 26,000 fans to me either. It was a bad crowd.
They sold that to a man desperate to win the election in Dominic Perrottet, didn't they? That was the backstory there.
That's right. They sold out the credibility of the grand final for 30 pieces of silver. Frankly,
yeah, exactly.
Melbourne City ended up finishing 9 points clear or something ridiculous, and the fans have to travel interstate to go watch their team play the grand final.
And they probably feel aggrieved. Well done to Central Coast, by the way, who won that 6-1.
Superb.
6-1. That was phenomenal.
They're the two sides that play young Australians the most in the A-League, statistically by a mile, are Adelaide United and Central Coast.
Yep.
They're 2 of the top 3 sides in the country.
They were great to watch. They deserved it. Manchester City, while we're talking soccer, they won the FA Cup over the weekend, so they could go the treble. They've won the FA Cup, the EPL title. Now they're hoping to win the Champions League. Novak Djokovic through to his 14th consecutive French Open quarter-final. I think Carlos Alcaraz, probably the man to stop him. Max Verstappen has won the Spanish Grand Prix overnight. And while we're talking winners, Port Adelaide, club record, 9 straight. They've never done it, so a great effort for them. That first half is as good a footy as I've seen.
That was like watching primary school football where they start saying, okay, we're not going to have the bounce, we're going to give the struggling side can kick it in from the centre. It was just terrible.
It was.
I mean, terrible.
Change up
great
the teams,
for Port,
yeah.
but pitiful for the Hawks.
Yeah.
Zach, Connor, you guys are playing fullback now.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
That's what they needed to do.
Yeah, everyone else needs a go.
Yeah, come on, get someone else in the middle.
No, come on, Zach. You've had 47 touches, mate.
Come on, you're ready. Get better bang for your buck with Aussie Broadband this end of financial year at aussiebroadband.com.au.
Think of all the items on your eBay wish list. New tech? Furniture? Parts and accessories for your car? Now, imagine they're all yours. Nice thought, isn't it? This end of financial year, eBay is offering unmissable savings on all the items you love, with millions of items on sale. Just head to ebay.com.au to turn your want list into your got list. T's and C's apply. Limited time only.
In tough times, it's the simple things that make a big difference. Like $17 schnitzel days at the Albion, Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. We know the humble schnitty can't fix all our problems, but we do know it'll put a smile on your dial. $17 schnitties Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at the Albion, Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. Making the world a better place. One schnitty at a time. Got to start somewhere. You just know it's a Barreau hotel.
Now, well, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, mate, but what is your garden like?
It's like a magical forest if the forest was full of weeds. I actually looked out the front yesterday and I thought, my God, I could lose myself out there.
You could.
Look, it's not
As
like
Eminem
yours, put it that way.
Well, look, it doesn't matter what sort of garden
That's
you've
what
got.
Eminem was singing about.
That's right. Now, look, it doesn't matter what sort of garden you've got. The people at Stanford's, they're here to help. And they don't just talk gardens. They want to see your photos, good, bad or ugly.
I think this is a newspaper adage, isn't it? A picture's worth 1,000 words,
Yes.
and nothing makes the Stanford's team's day like a photo of your pride and joy, your garden.
And with 100 years of combined experience in the team, they've seen a lot, but it never gets old. Show them your unusual garden, your work in progress, your new veggie patch, the time you dabbled in hedge sculpting. The people at Stanford's want to see it all. They're a wealth of knowledge when it comes to tips and tools to keep your garden pristine.
Pop in for tips or just to brag to someone who gets it. Go see Ben and Archie and their experienced team at 590 Main North Road, Gemps Cross, or check out stanfordmowers.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A possible shower in 21 with the 6:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. physioextra.com.
New data shows the country's financial misery index is at its highest level since the start of the global financial crisis in 2007. Skyrocketing mortgage repayments are being blamed. Right now, a homeowner with a $600,000 mortgage is paying almost $16,000 more each year as a result of rate hikes. And it's becoming more expensive to run a car. Figures from the Australian Automobile Association show the average cost per household per week, including financing and insurance, is about $502, up $34 compared to last year. Jeff Gwillam from the Automotive Chamber of Commerce is concerned with rising costs. People will delay or avoid getting their car serviced.
Don't stop looking after your car. Keep an eye on the temperature gauge, because if you cook your engine, it's all over rover, and if your oil is dirty, you're going to wear that engine out quick. So please don't stop doing the basic things.
Peak bodies representing builders, farmers, business operators and the oil and gas sectors are launching a joint campaign to fight proposed IR reforms. Details of the federal government's same job, same pay rules will be unveiled later this year. An advertising campaign will begin today, arguing the reforms will cause unnecessary red tape for the industry. Former Liberal staffer Bruce Lerman says he isn't ruling out taking legal action against Brittany Higgins. Mr Lerman's spoken publicly for the first time since he was accused of raping Ms Higgins inside Parliament House in Canberra. A criminal trial against Mr Lerman was abandoned due to juror misconduct, and prosecutors have since dropped the charges. Less than half of Aussies could vote against the voice to Parliament. A news poll by The Australian shows only 46% of voters are in favour of changing the Constitution to give effect to an Indigenous voice. Those supporting the yes vote are primarily made up of women, young people and the city-based university-educated sector. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has criticised the unsafe manoeuvre which occurred between a Chinese naval ship and US destroyer, saying the incident's concerning. On the final day of his visit to Vietnam, the PM has promised to strengthen economic, education and security ties between the two countries.
For 50 years, we have worked together to shape that future in our mutual interest. I very much like the Prime Minister's statement that no matter how treacherous a mountain, there is always a path to the peak.
Indian officials have been examining the cause of a fatal rail accident. They say it's believed an electronic track management system malfunctioned, causing the collision of the three trains. The death toll's been revised down to 275 after some bodies were counted twice. Former New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has a new title. She's been made a Dame in this year's King's Birthday Honours list. She says she feels incredibly humbled by her new title, even though she's a self-described Republican. And Jogson Frillo's widow has spoken publicly for the first time since the MasterChef judge's shock death. In a video on his Instagram page, Lauren has thanked people for the outpouring of support. She's asked his social media followers how to best move forward with sharing his work.
He had lots of projects he was working on, a lot that he'd finished, and I just don't know what's appropriate or what you guys want to see on here. So, you know, he's got a lot of behind-the-scenes interviews and photos from MasterChef. He's got books, a fashion range. He's got spirits aging in a distillery in Tassie.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get better bang for your buck with Aussie Broadband this end of financial year at aussiebroadband.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Adelaide's players will have a light run at West Lakes this morning as they recover from a disappointing loss against Gold Coast. The result has been compounded by a serious knee injury to defender Tom Duday, which is set to sideline him for the season. Port Adelaide's players will also recover this morning following a 9th straight win on the weekend against Hawthorn. Still on footy, and Essendon coach Brad Scott, he's praising his side's fight after beating North Melbourne in a thriller by 6 points. The two sides exchanged the lead multiple times in the last quarter before Massimo D'Ambrosio snapped the winner for the Bombers. Scott says it was a brave effort.
We had 17 players who haven't played 100 games out there tonight. You know, we're significantly younger than North Melbourne out there tonight. You know, so we're a pretty young and inexperienced team ourselves.
In yesterday's other game, Richmond also had a narrow 6-point win against GWS. Well, Max Verstappen has won the Spanish Grand Prix from pole position to stretch his Formula One championship lead to 53 points. Lewis Hamilton finished second, George Russell was third, while Aussie Oscar Piastri finished back in 13th. And in some golf to finish, American Denny McCarthy holds a 2-shot lead late in the final round of the Memorial Tournament in Ohio with only a few holes to play. Aussie Adam Scott was impressive again. He finished 6 shots back and is currently in a tie for 11th. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A possible shower in 21 today. Tomorrow sunny at first and then showers in the afternoon, a high of 23. Wednesday showers with the chance of a thunderstorm, 20. And showers on Thursday down to 17. At the moment, 17. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Book a test drive of the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today. Visit gocherry.com.au.
23 minutes to 7, police and weather not too far away. You had a nice little story to start us off this program this morning, David, about turning your kids into Alex B. Keaton whilst Kate was away watching the Crows lose up in Darwin.
Impromptu garden shop out the front of our joint while I was weeding the front yard. The
couple of young entrepreneurs.
They made $17 in about an hour and a half. No, $20. $20.
We've got a Tony and Mark's voucher, $100 Tony and Mark's voucher. Wonderful shop to do your shopping. $100 will go a long way too. Quality that tastes better, lasts longer, but doesn't cost you more. Let us know. Did you ever run a little stall? Did you have a business when you were a kid?
What was your little money-making enterprise?
There's a little stand that's a couple of houses down from us. That's a little lemonade stand that pops up from time to time.
Seriously,
mate. And there was the former owners of a house next to us. The little fella would go out there and make. Sometimes it was pies he would go out and sell, and sometimes it was lemonade.
Seriously?
Different things, yeah.
That's good.
Have his little stall out the front. It was sensational.
It's a good activity. And these days too, like, because iPads are so all pervasive, you know, like they just becomes the default thing for kids to play with, just the iPad or the phone. And I think the parents, more than anyone, probably, I would say this with a degree of self-criticism, the temptation is to think, well, I've got a bit of work to do, here's the iPad. When iPads didn't exist, this is why you read those old bumper book of things to do. You'd get in trouble these days because they're gender stereotyping. There was the bumper book of things to do for boys and the bumper book of things to do for girls in the 1950s, as if they were, you know, the boys should have been out there getting their hands dirty and the girls should have been inside becoming seamstresses and so forth. But they were good books because all of them were activities using your mind and your hands and your imagination. taking risks as well, using, none of this. Oh, you be careful that those needles or those scissors, or you be careful with that saw. Like back in the 50s, like go out there and cut something down.
Well, I heard you were saying on the weekend, be careful with those profit margins. Nisi has called in. Nisi, good morning. What was your business when you were a kid?
Good morning. My dad used to go rabbiting, and I'm 81 now, so at the age of between 10 and 12, I used to sell rabbits for 2 shillings.
Oh, really? What would you go like door to door selling them, Nisi?
In Port Pirie we come from, and we had neighbours and that, and when they found out, well, I used to go to their place and sell them.
Were they skinned, Nisi, or are they fresh?
Oh, Dad, of course he skinned them, of course. Yeah, they're all fresh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, full
and
service.
Hares as well. We knew a German lady, and she showed us, or told us how to hang that hare and then put it in some wine and that, and cook that.
Because they're a bit tough, aren't they? Hares compared to
Well,
rabbits.
these weren't. These were. Don't forget, I'm 81 now, so this is going back a long, long time. But I used to get 2 shillings, which is quite good in late 1940s to 50s.
Did you have a favourite rabbit recipe, Nisia?
My mother used to stew them.
Yep.
And then batter them. Cook them a bit and then put batter.
So like fried pieces?
Wiener Schnitzel.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, right.
All right, Nisia, thank you for that.
Beautiful.
Let's go to Largs Bay. Mark, good morning.
Morning, boys. How are we this morning?
Good, thanks, Mark.
Yes, I was one of the original lawn mowing franchises back in Clemsik when I was still going to high school. Used to throw the old Victor two-stroke in the back of the EK station wagon and drive around and make a few dollars, and it was good stuff.
Can you remember what you charged per lawn, Mark? Or did it
Yeah,
vary on the
$2.50,
size?
mate.
$2.50.
No matter the size of the lawn, didn't matter?
Nah,
Flat
I did $2.50 was all right. That paid for me petrol, which was 17 cents a litre back in those days.
Oh, wow.
Excellent. That's good.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
I think we might be able to take one more. Raymond, or is it Andrew? Andrew's there. We'll get to Andrew in just a moment. 8223 0000. Someone's getting a Tony and Mark's voucher valued at some $100 in just a moment. You can text us too on the Duttons text line 0448 08 1395. Remember, you can contribute to the show on the Foodland supermarkets.
Funny how
Facebook and YouTube live stream as well.
Funny how rabbits have gone from being poverty food in this country to hawk cuisine. Like, they're really expensive now.
There's a fashion element to food, isn't there? Things that was daggy, but now look at me being a super chef.
My
making
mum and
it
dad,
amazing.
if I told them we're having rabbit for dinner, I reckon they'd just walk out of the house in disgust. Or tripe or any of that stuff, because they ate it at the time because their parents didn't have the money.
But now it's been tricked up by modern chefs.
Yeah,
and so
something
forth.
like having a chicken. Like, how
Luxury.
taken for granted is chicken these days? Having a chicken was something you did on Christmas Day in the 1950s.
Andrew's called in. Morning to you, Andrew.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate.
Good to hear. Hey, talking about things that are cuisine now, long before calamari was cuisine, and long before it was called calamari, and we simply called it squid, I had a little bit of a side business selling the old squid to the local bait shop.
Did you? As a kid?
Back when everyone thought it was
As a kid. Yeah, well, that's what it was used for back in the day, before, like you said, before it became cuisine. And, the fancy names, used to, it wouldn't have been the only one. There would have been a few of us that used to walk the planks on various jetties or the local jetty, and you'd either take them back to sell for bait to the local bait shop, or people in the know who knew how to cook and eat them would sometimes come and purchase them from you out of your bucket.
That's good.
Thank you, Andrew.
Good on you, Andrew. It is weird, isn't it? Like, so much of this, we are indebted to the various immigrants who came here for actually learning how to cook stuff properly. I mean, for a while there, you had to go to the chemist to buy olive oil because it wasn't seen as fit for human consumption.
Imagine having to explain to people too, though, that actually this thing that you're selling at a bait shop, if you trick it up, is delicious.
I reckon the first time I tried that was at
thought.
high school in year 11. We had this multicultural day at Marion High, and all the Greek kids' parents would come along and they'd cook octopus and calamari on charcoal. And I was like, where's this been all my life? This tastes unbelievable.
Matt in Lindock's called in. Morning to you, Matt.
Yeah, how you going, Will? G'day, Dave.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah, good. Yeah, talking about rabbits, we used to trap them when I was a kid, so I was learning how to sort of trap, and you put a bit of baking paper over the top of the trap, and then you cover it with a bloody bit of dirt, and you come back two hours later, and you have your rabbit. But we used to call them underground mutton.
Underground mutton.
Underground mutton, yeah.
Did you sell them as a kid, Matt, or were you just getting them for eating yourselves?
Oh, eat them for ourselves, and then, And my old dad, he was brought up in Hamley Bridge, so he used to skinning and trapping. And he bought his first, it was called a bunny knife, and he bought that with his selling the skins. And
Wow.
all that, yeah.
Hugely important part of Australian history, the rabbit. I mean, there's a football team named after the people who used to catch them in and around Surrey Hills in Sydney in the Depression, the Rabbitohs.
We might take one more call on this. Graham in Tennyson's on the line. Morning to you, Graham.
Morning, boys. I don't know if you can remember. You might be a bit too young to remember, but lamb shanks were pet food donkeys years ago. No one ate them.
Yeah, that's right.
Now they're cuisine. In fact, they cost a fair bit now.
I saw one mangy-looking lamb shank sitting in a suburban supermarket, one of those 24-hour supermarkets yesterday, for $8. One lamb shank. I looked at it and went, just how did that happen? How did something that... It's like an off-cut.
Who do we like for the $100 Tony and Mark's voucher?
Well, she might have got 2 shillings when she was selling rabbits as a little girl, but I think we can go one better and give it to Nessia.
Yep.
What do you reckon?
Nessia, you've got a $100 Tony and Mark's voucher coming your way. You'll love it there. You can cook anything to your heart's desire. Quality tastes better, lasts longer, but doesn't cost you more. We're going to check traffic and come back with police and weather in just a moment. Don't miss out on 3... Sorry.
I was just going to say rabbits, garlic, thyme, mushrooms, bacon, white wine, and chicken stock, and parsley. And you're set.
Done.
Just put all of them in. On some shallots as well. Some shallots. And you're off.
Dave's cookbook is coming to all good publishers not too far away. We're going to make it happen. We're going to force him to do it. Don't miss out on 3 Porsche and Paradise draws. Deadline midnight Friday. Homelottery.com.au.
Thanks, Will, and good morning. Roads are working well this morning. Always nice on a Monday. However, you'll find a burst of water main at Newton this morning. Gorge Road and Campbell Road. Speeds are down to 25 and got a lane out of action. Also a lane out of action at Hilton. So Donald Brammer Drive near Pearson Street. Speeds are 25. And New Ashfield's gone down overnight. South Road at Edwardstown, just near Castle Plaza and Bunnings there, so that'll be slower than normal on the driving today. Need a fast funding solution? NAB Business Lending feels like cash flowing, so you can feel relief showing. Search NAB Business Lending today. T's and C's, fees, charges and lending criteria apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
You know, there's a really simple way to be sure the ham you're buying is made from Australian pork. You just look for a pink box on your packs. That way, you'll know the pork comes fresh from our farms.
And not shipped in from overseas!
Yep. A pink box on your pack also means the ham has passed Australia's strict quality controls. So your ham will taste great. So for true Australian quality, just pick a pack with a pink pork logo. Thanks a lot.
Hurry into Ranella Mazda. We're stocked with CX-5 and CX-9 ready for immediate delivery. No reasonable offer will be refused. CX-5 and CX-9 stock must be cleared. Just 25 minutes from the CBD. Only at Ranella Mazda. LVD 152780.
It's time to raise the bar. If you're organising an event, anything from a small meeting to a grand gala, you'll know there are many things to consider. So trust the experts at Adelaide Convention Centre to help you elevate your vision. With the support from our team at every stage, you'll be amazed at what can happen in turning each aspect into an unforgettable experience for both you and your guests. Contact our team and discover the magic to elevate your vision at Adelaide Convention Centre.
Good food and great times. That is what's on the menu at the Griffins, a gem of the city's east, overlooking leafy Hindmarsh Square.
We love the Griffins. It's got 6 versatile and customisable function spaces And look, let the Griffins Function team host a productive work conference or create a memorable celebration lunch. Birthdays, engagements, even weddings, the Griffins Functions team can help you create magical memories.
Get to the Griffins for their $20 Griffins burger and beer, wine or softie deal. That's a beef, chicken or veggie burger with a pint, wine or softie for just $20. Available for lunch or dinner 7 days a week. Check out thegriffins.com.au and be sure to follow them on Facebook for all their latest events.
Good food and great times at the Griffins, the place to meet, Highmarsh Square.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Emotor 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
Our Albion correspondent Dave Lloyd just pointed out the cookbook can't be called Cooking with Dave as it sounds a bit too Breaking Bad-ish. So we'll come up with something. Come up with something that's a little bit, less open to interpretation.
Yes.
Taking suggestions for the name of Dave's cookbook, by the way. 8223 you can text us on the Dutton's text
I'm not
line
actually
as well.
doing one.
No, we're going to make you do one.
Okay.
There's untapped potential there. People need to have a pen, paper handy when you come out with it.
All right.
And we need to sort of...
Hey, that wasn't my work. That was Elizabeth David, 1952, Book of Mediterranean Cooking.
Is that right?
It's
Well,
in
you
there.
rip them off. I'm sure it's all borrowed,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Well, she got it off some old lady in France.
Exactly right. Let's talk about the weather. Hannah Marsh is the senior forecaster at the Bureau. What's with these warm mornings, Hannah?
Yeah, well, we've got some northerly winds around at the moment, which is keeping, like you mentioned, quite warm overnight. When I came in at 5:30, it was 17.1 degrees. We are down to 16 now, but we are expecting the maximum temperature also to be warm. So I guess that's the other good side to it, with a maximum of 21 degrees in the city and 18 for Mount Barker today.
Beautiful. Good stuff, Hannah. Thanks for that.
All right, let's head to SAPOL. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan's on the line. Jen, there was a servo robbery at Woodville West.
Yes, there was, and this was last night about 11:15. A man entered the service station on Port Road, armed with a knife, and demanded cash from the console operator. And he stole a small quantity of cash and some cigarettes, and was last seen leaving the area on a push bike towards Jervis Street. Now, thankfully, the staff member wasn't injured. Patrols searched the area, but they couldn't find him. He's described as wearing a green balaclava, a grey jumper and black pants. And we ask if anybody has any information to call Crime Stoppers at 1800 333 000.
And Jen, also a bit of a traffic warning involving a burst water main at Newton.
Yes, this is on Gorge Road, a good old burst water main. And Gorge Road is restricted to one lane for city-bound traffic and one lane to eastbound traffic near to Jan Street at Newton. So the SA Water advised that it'll go through to peak hour traffic this morning, so just allow a little bit of extra time if you're coming from the eastern suburbs there.
Good stuff, Jen. Thanks for that.
Senior Constable Jen Cullinan from SAPOL. Tonight on 7 News at 6 o'clock, there's going to be a pretty extraordinary interview that was actually conducted by my offsider, Rosanna Mangiarelli, who is a Sammy D board director with Crows coach Matthew Nix, who's coming on board the Sammy D Foundation to be the 4th anti-violence ambassador. His message is not just an important one, but an incredibly personal one, because in this sit-down interview tonight, he's going to reveal that he was the victim of a horrific violent act from a bunch of neo-Nazi thugs during a rampage in the CBD back in 1994.
Matthew Nix Hindley Street bashing.
I was in quite a mess.
For the first time, the Crows coach opens up about the attack that changed his life.
I wasn't able to walk down the street.
Why he's telling his story now. A Rosanna Mangiarelli special report on 7 News, Monday at 6.
I've seen a bit of this and spoken to Rosanna about it. That this bloke, Matthew Nix is, put football legions aside, one of the most likeable and well-adjusted human beings you can possibly ever come across. He's universally loved. The things he talks about, though, in terms of how this impacted his life, the things he became afraid to do. He was 18 at the time. He worried what it would mean for his professional football playing career. He got bashed by a group of these thugs that were running through town. They were high on watching Romper Stomper, and he was just one of the unfortunate people that got smashed in the head. But this bloke, suddenly crowded spaces became an issue.
Yeah, he stopped going out.
He'd stopped going out.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? And it was a pretty murky time in Adelaide as well when that group National Action was quite vocal. They'd been kicking around for about a decade, but I remember Hugh Van Lay, our former governor, confronted them once. Amazingly courageous. He went to one of their rallies and stood up and got a microphone and said, "You people have nothing to fear. What are you so afraid of?" But I've got a vague memory of that actually happening. It was page 1 of the Advertiser, and in the Advertiser's online version of the article that appears today in print on page 7, but they've actually run the old clipping, and it's back from when the paper was still a broadsheet newspaper, and it ran as what's called the hamper, the story across the top of a broadsheet, so running underneath the masthead, and he would have been playing for Westies at the time, or maybe just starting out.
Just 18, yeah, so he would have been literally starting out. I can read you the first bit of the story from 1994, actually. You can blow it up online. The state government has called for an urgent police report after a gang of neo-Nazis bashed at least 5 men and terrified hundreds of onlookers in a city rampage. During 15 minutes of terror, about 20 neo-Nazis wearing skinhead-style uniforms goose-stepped through Rundle Mall shouting, "Hail Hitler," among other things. It's a bit blurry for me to make out, but that is a horrifying scene.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Good on him for doing it, and of course, Sammy D, the named in memory of Sam Davis, who lost his life after one of those coward punches. It's a hugely important message to get out. And
I was thinking about Sammy D Foundation the other day in the context of a conversation we'd been having about the way in which language is not evolving naturally, but people are seeming to sort of force changes on it to get rid of, microaggressions and all this stuff that we always rail against. The best example of language changing for the good was changing the term king hit for coward punch.
Oh yeah, because king hit sounded like it was almost celebrated. Yeah, your masculinity.
That's the example of it being used well.
Yeah.
When you change a term, and the reason it worked too is because everyone just instantly changed their language. As a community, people went.
Valid use of the term nutcase to describe someone who's actually running down a crowded city street with a machete trying to stab random passers-by.
Or even worse, the French.
Yeah, that's right. The French.
The AP Style Guide
Exactly.
had some real concerns about that. You watch that interview with Matthew Nix tonight on Channel 7 News at 6 o'clock because it's a pretty extraordinary tale, and it's wonderful the work he's now going to be doing with the Sammy D Foundation. Got some text there on the Duttons text line?
Quite a few about people's jobs as kids or their little money-making enterprises. Scott says, I ran a cordial stand at Hamley Bridge where my grandparents lived. I did it in the summer school holidays more than 40 years ago, between the ages of 12. Will from Goodwood says, guys, in year 8, I used to pinch my dad's People magazines and sell them to the boys at school for 50 cents each. I wish they published more than one of them a week. Good on you, Will. You might have been able to retire, mate, if they did. And Cam from Campbelltown says, as a 10-year-old in the days when beer cans had 15-cent deposit versus 5 cents for soft drink, as a kid in the mid-'80s, I used to only collect empty beer cans between races at Speedway Park, averaging $50 a night. Wow. Probably the equivalent of an adult's daily net wage at the time, plus 10% interest earned in the bank. Amazing early life lesson. Cam from Campbelltown, who's texting in from his 18-bedroom home.
There's some very unkind titles of your cookbook coming through at the moment.
Just cooking with Pembo. Underwhelming. And one here from Andrew and St Mary's, favourite dishes that I can't pronounce.
Dutton's text. Keep them coming in. See you at the brand new Dutton's Mitsubishi Hyundai and Ram showrooms in Murray Bridge, now open.
Hey Rick, it's Chris from Automasters. Just thought I'd give you a quick rundown on some of the things on the car.
Now you can see what we see.
Just want to show you 2 little things on the CX-5.
AutoCam.
So this is the air filter out of your car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
It's not actually the wheel bearing. What it is, the handbrake's integrated into the calipers.
See any issue firsthand. How good. Real-time reporting with instant SMS approval. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
As we all know, SA is going through a housing crisis right now, but McGain Real Estate are trying to help out as best they can.
So if you're a landlord looking to sell but feeling guilty about disrupting an awesome tenant, McGain want to help. They've got landlords ready to buy your property and keep that tenant in place.
McGain have hundreds of landlords ready to buy investment properties right now, so there's no need to stress about asking the tenant to move out or waiting for the lease to end. These astute buyers know the value of a good tenant and want to keep them in place and happy.
And with these investment buyers ready to go, you could save thousands on marketing, meaning it's a win-win. There's a reason you see signs popping up everywhere saying sold by McGain again. Visit mcgain.com.au.
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Barossa and Clare has always been well worth the trip, especially with their end of financial year sale on all new, used and demo cars. There's over 120 commercials in stock of all makes and models, with the balance of factory warranty on selected models ready for delivery. Plus, they're offering an additional $1,500 trade-in bonus on all trade-ins. Head to one of Steinborner's 8 locations or visit steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
Ladies, is the need to wee all the time making your life a misery? Caruso's Wee Less to the rescue. Caruso's Wee Less relieves the annoying and inconvenient feeling that you need to go to the bathroom too often and supports bladder health and function. So if your need to wee all the time is getting in the way of enjoying life, try Caruso's Wee Less today. Caruso's Wee Less is made in Australia, comes with a money-back guarantee and is available from leading pharmacies and health food stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A possible shower in 21 with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Hydrotherapy at Physio Extra Marion has individual sessions and classes claimable on private health and NDIS.
Millions of households are bracing for another interest rate rise. New data from the Uni of Melbourne reveals the country's financial misery index is at its highest level since the start of the global financial crisis in 2007. A homeowner with a $600,000 mortgage is now paying almost $16,000 more each year. Economists say whether the Reserve Bank will raise rates tomorrow will be a close call. And transport costs are also rising. Jeff Gwillam from the Automotive Chamber of Commerce is concerned rising costs may see drivers skip regular servicing.
One of the things that we are concerned about is as we come into tighter economic times, people start to leave out servicing, their tyres become more worn than they should be.
Police are investigating a service station robbery at Woodville West. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says a man entered the servo on Port Road armed with a knife.
He stole a small quantity of cash and some cigarettes and was last seen leaving the area on a push bike towards Jervis Street. Now, thankfully, the staff member wasn't injured. Patrols searched the area, but they couldn't find him. He's described as wearing a green balaclava, a grey jumper and black pants.
Police are appealing for information following an alleged fight and arson attack at Carrakalinga. It's alleged 3 people were assaulted before a home went up in flames yesterday morning. A 37-year-old man is facing a string of charges and will face court this morning. Former political staffer Bruce Lerman has broken his silence after being accused of raping his colleague inside Parliament House in Canberra. A criminal trial was aborted due to juror misconduct, and ACT prosecutors abandoned the case altogether. Mr Lerman's told Seven he denies the allegations.
Did you rape Brittany Higgins?
No, I didn't. It simply didn't happen. And the evidence supports that. The federal police support that. I don't know what more you could possibly want.
Indian officials have been examining the cause of a fatal rail accident. It's believed an electronic track management system malfunctioned, causing the collision of 3 trains. The death toll has been revised down to 275 after some bodies were counted twice. The Railway Board's Subodh Jain says the fault saw trains proceed on the same track.
In this particular case, what happened, freight train was already standing in the loop line, but still the signal became green. The train went to a path where it should not have gone.
Prince Harry will appear in the witness box this week to testify at the High Court in London. More from Curry-Ann Greenbank.
This court case relates to the Mirror newspaper group. Prince Harry wants to prove that stories that were written about him over a 2-decade period were illegally obtained, whether through phone hacking or voicemail interception or the use of private investigators. He will be taking to the witness box this week to give evidence under oath, which is a big personal risk for him, as it opens him up to being cross-examined by some of Britain's best lawyers, who will no doubt be asking very challenging questions in open court, so it's all public information. But Harry remains adamant he wants his time in court. He blames the British tabloids for damaging his life and ending the life of his mother Diana. This is one of 3 court cases he is currently fighting against the British media.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get better bang for your buck with Aussie Broadband this end of financial year at aussiebroadband.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide captain Tom Jonas has put in a solid display for the Maggies in the Sandful, picking up 17 touches and 5 marks as his side went down in a thriller to the Eagles by only 3 points. Charlie Dixon and Travis Bokar also a chance to return to the senior side for the Powers clash against the Bulldogs on Friday night. The players will have a recovery session at Alberton this afternoon, while the Crows will also have a recovery session this morning at Westlakes and will have to find a permanent replacement for Tom Doedee, who's suffered a season-ending knee injury. Let's stick with footy. A game of swinging momentum has seen North Melbourne just fall short against the Bombers, losing to Essendon by 6 points at Marvel Stadium. The Roos hit the front 4 times in the last quarter in a seesawing battle but couldn't hold on. North interim coach Brett Ratton says it was a frustrating result despite the positive signs.
We don't want to keep putting ourselves in close games and not getting over the line. So we made some blues towards the end of the game, which will be great education, and we didn't quite get that right. But yeah, there were some pleasing things to come out again.
And Richmond has beaten GWS in another thriller by 6 points in yesterday's other game. To other sport, Max Verstappen has taken out the Spanish Grand Prix overnight, winning ahead of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, while Oscar Piastri was 13th. Stefanos Tsitsipas, Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic have all progressed to the quarterfinals of the French Open, while on the women's side, Arina Sabalenka is also through. And talks between Ange Postecoglou and EPL club Tottenham are reportedly heating up, with confirmation expected he'll be taking over in the coming days. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
Good morning. Roads working well for the drive-in today. However, you will find a burst water main at Newton Gorge Road near Campbell Road, speeds down to 25 with a lane out of action there. Busy right now, South Road at Edwardstown with speeds reduced for new asphalt works. Roadworks slowing things up at the moment at Woodville Road near Bower Street, speeds at 40. With cameras, look out for those. Dawes Road, Melrose Park and Lefevre Terrace in North Adelaide. Don't miss the Optus end of financial year sale. You only have until June 30 to grab an epic small business deal. Speak to an Optus business specialist today. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A possible shower in 21 today. Tomorrow, sunny at first and then showers in the afternoon, 23. Wednesday, showers with the chance of a thunderstorm, 20. And showers on Thursday, down to 17. At the moment, 16. More news as it happens on 5AA.
G'day everyone, Cornsey here. Now, I know a great team and I see one, and the South Australian hydraulic team I rate the highest is BL Shipway. I've known them for a long time. David Shipway is one of the best blokes you'll ever meet. BL Shipway, they've been looking after your hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953 with brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Enerpac, Hydac, Oilpath, EasyFit and many more. And if you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au, a South Australian team you can count on.
AutoCam.
So this is the air filter out of your car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
It's not actually the wheel bearing. What it is, the handbrake.
AutoCam. Real-time reporting with instant SMS approval. Call 1300 Automasters.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
At the moment, our resident statsman, Ben Jordan, informs the program that yesterday we broke the record for the warmest June night on record at 17.4, beating a record that stood since the 9th of June 1919.
It's amazing.
17.4. So we're not too far away from that all-time record right here and now.
Well, you've done what I did yesterday. I just sort of got up and instinctively grabbed my Ugg boots and put them on, went and sat out the back with my coffee, and I went, what am I wearing Ugg boots for?
Yeah.
Went and put my thongs
Put
on.
a jumper on. No need whatsoever.
Yeah, it's great weather.
It's fantastic weather at the moment. Lots to come on the program this morning. We're going to jump into the news first up, though, because there's some significant national, federal political news around, starting with News Poll, which is usually headlined by two-party preferred or the performance of the Prime Minister or the opposition leader. That's all been overshadowed by the latest data that's out with regard to the Voice to Parliament referendum, which has been framed slightly differently to past News Poll questions, because now it was done so with the full knowledge of the wording of the question that people will be voting on in the referendum, and the returns were troubling for the yes side of the equation. The current state of play, yes 46, no 43. It's the first time yes has dipped below 50%. Most concerning, though, is not the headline figure, it's the trajectory. If you look back to news polls from the start of February, it was 56-37. Then in March, 53-38. April, 53-39. Today, 46-43. There is the no vote is increasing. Curiously, the don't know vote is increasing too. None of the breakdowns will surprise you, be it by gender or political support. Those leaning to the left, more likely to vote yes. Those leaning right, more likely to vote no.
Has it got an age breakdown as well?
Yeah, the age breakdown, the sort of the point at which things begin to shift significantly is essentially once you hit 50. So 50 to 64 is no 55, yes 33, whereas the bracket before it, 35 to 49, yes 53, no 37, and then it just gets more extreme as you go in either direction. Young, more likely to be yes. Older, 65 plus, more likely to be no.
The older bracket is interesting because that would have to include people who voted yes in 1967 to the Faith Bandler referendum to count Aboriginal people in the census and to give Parliament the power to make laws for their betterment. They're different proposals, though. One was recognising, a shocking fallacy that Indigenous people didn't count. So righting a long-standing wrong. But I think the thing that the no vote is being driven by more than anything, I think, is the sense that it's going to be some sort of expensive bureaucracy. Now, I don't know, the cost part of it has been, I think, massively and deliberately overblown by the no vote people. But the lack of detail by the yes side has let that speculation run unchecked. The backdrop to it all too. I mean, here we are, we started the show this morning, news headlines talking about yet again another interest rate hike possibly tomorrow, which would make it, 12?
Is it oversimplification to say the distinction, whilst the subject matters are broadly similar between 67 and today, the substance is substantially different? Because in 67 was easily understood, and this is not easily understood. And I reckon, especially in that older cohort from people I speak to, and I actually think this is a totally legitimate position, their position is on any referendum question, the Constitution being the bedrock of a country they love and are proud of, is I'm a no on everything that you want to do to the Constitution until you prove otherwise. Like the presumption of innocence, or some of the other bedrock principles, where people, I think, fundamentally say, no, the onus is on you to tell me why I need to do this, because I kind of don't like tinkering with the settings of this document that underwrites the entire country. And they just the standard of evidence, to again use a court term, hasn't been met. They haven't met whatever level it is to be proved that this is something that absolutely needs to happen. So I guess what I'm saying in a long way is it's not some violent, angry, this is an outrage, albeit some are. But I think there's a huge number of people who go, well, you just need to prove to me why this is such a good idea, and you just haven't been able to do that yet.
Still there for the winning, though, for the yes team. 46% yes, don't know 11. The cheery glass half full assessment of that is, well, you've only got to shift 5% of them across. But the reality is, for a referendum, it's got to be an absolute majority in an absolute majority of states. So you need 4 out of 6 states voting more than 50%. And, 1967, the result from memory off the top of my head, I think it was the national vote was 90.77%. But that's because it was a proposal that was put by the Liberal government when Harold Holt was still alive. It received bipartisan support from the Labor opposition. This has been the absolute polar opposite of bipartisanship, and I'd count the don't knows as no's. I think if you don't know by now,
the fact that the longer the campaign's gone on too, the more likely people to vote no would be pretty concerning. Other big federal political story this week, you may have even seen this start to play out on your TV stations last night, a new ad campaign that's designed to explain to people the damage, as characterised by those behind the campaign, inflicted on the economy and on individual pay packets by the government's same job, same pay legislation, the first tranche of which comes into operation on Tuesday. So there's a whole bunch of business groups that have banded together to support this campaign. The MCA, the Business Council, the Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Australian Industry Group, the National Farmers Federation, the Council of Small Business Organisations of Australia. What they're trying to do is essentially replicate the campaign against the mining tax that was hugely successful. Here's a bit of the ad campaign on industrial relations laws that's running on televisions at the moment.
The federal government wants to introduce a new law called Same Job, Same Pay. It doesn't mean equal pay for men and women. It means by law, employers will have to pay workers with little knowledge or experience exactly the same as workers with a lot of knowledge and experience. Let's find a better way, because Same Job, Same Pay takes your reward for your experience away. Go to findabetterway.com.au.
That tearing at the end is the pay slip at the end of the ad that says that the same job, same pay legislation takes away your reward for hard work or your experience. Now, the government side and the union's argument on this is that if you're in a sector like childcare, for example, where there are many employers and not a huge union presence, it's really hard for childcare workers to band together and get better paying conditions because they're all on separate agreements. But if they're able to all negotiate as one big entity and strike as one big entity, that would be better for them. But it's big campaign with huge employer groups this week.
Biggest one since the battle against Kevin Rudd when he tried to bring in the mining tax and ended up going to war with the mining industry nationally for many years, and it was one of the things that cost him his prime ministership.
And as we've said on this program previously, if you're a big international act and you're coming to Australia and you deign to come to Adelaide, we're going to celebrate you. Just stadium concerts too, which is particularly exciting. You ask, well, what stadium here in Adelaide? Not Adelaide Oval. They're going to be playing at Cooper's Stadium.
Good venue.
Saturday the 2nd of December.
They've played there before, I reckon.
Have they?
Yeah, I think they played. I reckon last time, correct me if I'm wrong, folks, ping us a text or give us a call, 8223 0088. I'm pretty sure the Foo Fighters played Hindmarsh last time they were here. Cooper's, rather.
Cooper's,
last time.
yeah.
Like, Cooper Stadium is Hindmarsh Stadium.
It is, yeah. It's one and the same.
Have you ever seen them?
No. I'd love to go to the show.
They are the best live band.
Yeah.
I saw them at the Metro in Sydney, which is like the Gov. It's basically like a small venue. They did a warm-up act, this would be 12 years ago. I reckon it wasn't that long after In Your Honour, I think was the record that had come out. But they're one of those bands that, you know, you're going to see bands and they say, oh, we've got a new album coming out and here's 14 songs off it in a row. And you stand there going, come on, fellas. You know, we bought all your records, been listening to you since 1995. Play your old stuff. They just came out and just, started with like Monkey Wrench, and then it was This Is a Call. It was just the best set. It was so good.
Well, and congratulations to them for coming to Adelaide too, which is something we always appreciate.
You know, I'll be bugging out about that. It's Fitzy. He's a massive fan.
He is, isn't he?
I think he knows Dave Grohl.
Does he?
Yeah, I think they've met.
We'll ask Fitzy when we get his tips on a Friday morning. 18 after 7. I guess the other bit of news that around 2 affects us here at 5AA. The 7 News Bulletin will be read from midday today.
So does that mean you're working 3 times a day now?
No.
Are you coming in here at noon to do that, eh?
Someone told... I don't know. Is that what they've put out there? There's something no one's told me.
I've got to say that's great news about Seven. The big media story this morning is that David Koch at some point is going to announce who the next host of Sunrise is going to be. Now, I've framed a bit of a market. Shervo, Matt Shervington, he's
short price favourite.
Yeah, he's paying about $1.20. Then there's that Bondi vet chap.
Oh, yeah.
He's in the mix. Chris Brown. He's about
He's locked up with 10, isn't he?
Yeah.
So what's a contract worth?
Pay him out of the contract there and, give him a couple of free coffee cups. He'll be over to Sunrise in no time. I've got him at $3.20. I've got you at $9.60.
Oh, I think I'm short. I feel like I'm really short.
There's a chance.
Because, and I'll tell you why, and I don't want to, disrupt the betting markets too much, but if he's about to announce it, no one's spoken to me yet.
Well, maybe they don't want it to leak.
It feels unlikely.
They don't want it to leak.
So I wouldn't waste your money on that 960 is what I'm saying. Stephen and Unley has called in. What did you, Stephen?
G'day, how are you? By the way, Dave, I was at that concert at Hindmarsh, and I was a bit dubious about the venue, but I've got to say it was a great venue and a great concert.
Yeah, it was about, 5-6 years ago, mate?
That's right, just before COVID.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Everyone I know who was at that show said it was excellent.
Yep, agreed.
A great live band. Good stuff.
Stephen.
Thanks for calling in,
Got
mate.
some Dutton's texts on that front as well. We're going to take a break. Stephen Rose coming up to wrap. Big weekend in sport. Difficult one for Crows fans. Difficult one for Tom Duday, who, of course, we'll be chatting with later in the week as well. We'll check traffic first and come back with all of that. Don't miss out on 3 Porsche and Paradise bonus draws. Deadline midnight Friday. Homelottery.com.au.
Thanks, Will. Monday morning looking good on the road. Simply Burst Watermate to look out for at Newton, Gorge Road near Campbell Road. Speeds under 25 with a lane out of action there. Busy at the moment. South Road at Edwardstown. Speeds reduced for new asphalt works. Slow for works at Hindmarsh too. Port Road near George Street. Speeds at 40 with cameras this morning. Dunrobin Road, Warradale and Fitzroy Terrace at North Adelaide. The GW and Haval H6 and Haval Joel in a smart SUVs now available with hybrid technology. Search GWM Haval to find out more. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Deb at Wollonga. Hello, Deb.
I love the Wollonga Library. The staff there are amazing. Don't get rid of our Wollonga Library. I'll sign anything. I will not resort to gluing myself to a building, but I will sign a petition quietly. So whatever they can do.
Weekday mornings from 9.
Please, it's important for our community. Don't get rid of our libraries.
On 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. At Lynn Andrews Real Estate, we've seen a lot of change in the property market over the last 50 years, but one thing remains constant: our passion to help people invest in the future, to build strong property portfolios in commercial and residential real estate. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share with you. We are here to help. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
You can do just about anything online. Shop, meet new friends, watch reruns of your favourite TV shows or movies. But there's one thing you should never do online, and that's your will. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers can answer your questions and help carry out your final wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Some people might think the best thing about winter is a hot chocolate or an open fire, but the best thing about this coming winter is Bob Burns Bly's Winter Warmer, where you get up to 40% off.
That's right, up to 40% off their entire range of curtains and blinds, including energy-efficient window coverings. And remember, with Bob Burns Blinds, you get that quality show-home look, plus you'll save on energy bills by trapping the heat in your home.
Bob Burns Blinds are South Australian too, with nearly everything manufactured right here in Adelaide from quality materials.
So get set for winter now with the Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer. Get up to 40% off their entire range of curtains and blinds, including energy-efficient window coverings. Book your free measure and quote at bobburnsblinds.com.au.
The all-new Amarok is finally here at Southern Volkswagen Ranella. The all-new Amarok is in stock and ready to test drive. Don't delay. Call Southern Volkswagen now and test drive today. Just 25 minutes from the CBD. Only at Southern Volkswagen. LVD 152780.
It's Porsche and Paradise bonus time. Get your Hospital Research Foundation home lottery tickets by midnight Friday. And you could be one of 3 bonus winners to score a Porsche Macan and a Hawaiian holiday. Plus, your tickets stay in the draw for the $4 million grand prize. Don't miss out. With over 13,000 prizes, you've got a 1 in 15 chance to win. To see full details, visit homelottery.com.au. Licence M14364.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Emoda 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
Stephen Rowe on 5AA Breakfast.
Not sure he's coming on with that level of enthusiasm this morning. Stephen Rowe joins us for the perfect meal. Head to a Barrow Hotel, the Albion, Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior or Sundowner in Whyalla. Rowie, good morning to you.
Oh, Pembo, Will, good morning. Look, I'll start with Port. Their first half was, well, defensively brutal and tight, and their attack was just laser sharp and efficient. Look, they're the real deal. I don't care what your opponent is, and I know Hawthorn will say, people say they're bottom four, but that first half of footy was premiership footy, and everyone in the comp now knows that, how powerful they can be with ball in hand, including the players in Kenny. So forget all the periphery nonsense around who's going to coach them next year. Park that if you're a Port person, and my advice would be strap yourself in for the ride, because they're in for a hell of a one now. That impressed me. I know it's Hawthorn more than any game they've played this year.
Oh, it was just brutal, wasn't it? Like, and you know, any Port fan is quibbling about the second half. Well, you know, what you're that far in front. I mean, sure, an extra 3 or 4% on the table might have been nice, but you know, they just brutalised them.
Oh, they were good. And then the Crows, 35 points up. What was it, midway through the second quarter? 9 unanswered goals. What was it, either side of half time? I guess there was a mini fight back in the last. I think we led by 3 points. It seduced me, and it seduced us to, you know, end up losing by 25 points. It was deflating, Will. You called it with me. Again, their away form's patchy. They sit 6-6. They're back in the pack, and they got West Coast at home. So
well, the difference, Rowie, between their best and worst is just too great, because their best is top 4. Their best is, and they play it for periods throughout games. They just simply can't sustain it, like the first quarter and a half. But then their worst is still a side that's well and truly out of the 8, and they've got to find a way to bring those 2 points closer together.
Yeah, exactly right. And in quarters to get multiple goals kicked on you, I thought they'd wrestled back that momentum type of thing and worked out the template for that. But there's a template to beating the Crows. When they lose contested ball and ground ball, those 2 stats alone, they lose. Now, Port Adelaide can lose that. They can lose stoppage, hit-outs, clearances and score from, but still win. So, you know, there's a bit of work to do, but it's still excitement. 6-6, I'd take that. And the sad note is Tom Duday, our 5AA's very own, or the Brecky teams. He's done his knee. It's an ACL. Will, we were fearful from it. I've done my knee. I know the exact look. I know the pain, the immediacy it happens, and it didn't look good from the minute he did it. So our thoughts with you, Tommy. He's a warrior. He'll fight back. It's his second one. He knows what to do. But that's a massive blow for him, his future, and probably the Crows.
Well, it's a huge blow in an immediate sense for Adelaide, because he just stiffens up that back line, and in his absence, it's looked a bit shaky. The other question is long-term what it means for him now as well, because it comes at a time with him being out of contract at the end of the year. And it's hard to know how that changes things, if it changes anything. There is something broadly, and I don't know his circumstance, I've not spoken to him about it, but broadly in sport that makes me feel uncomfortable. And it so often happens where players are given advice about contracts. And again, I stress, I don't know anything about the Duday situation, so just divorce it from that. We've seen it enough now where they get advice about holding out, or you'll get a better deal, or you do this from, I presume, agents who have 100 people on their books. They're players that only get one career and one chance. And they wear all the risk. And if you're running out of your contract and you're being advised, well, don't worry, you get a better deal, this is the kind of thing that can happen to you. And I just think this happens so often now. There's a pattern of bad advice that guys get. And again, I don't know what the Duday situation is. He might be totally happy with it, and he's a very smart guy who manages his own business, I'm sure. But I hate it when this happens to guys who are clearly being told, hold out for a better deal. It makes me sick.
Could very well cost him $200,000 in layman's terms. Big show. We've got stud treaders. We'll speak to both clubs. We'll see you at 4.
On your mate. That's going to be a big sports show tonight. Tune in. Rowie and Timmy G. For the perfect meal, head to a Barrow Hotel, the Albion, Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior or Sundowner in Wales.
Don't just send it, ace it.
I'm with Chris from ASIC Couriers, an SA family business, doing great things for your business.
Thanks, Rowie. Our drivers all undergo intensive training and the ASIC compliance team regularly audit our fleet. Plus, we use the latest satellite technology to track your deliveries. No matter what it is, we can deliver it safely and on time. Visit asiccouriers.com.au.
Don't just send it, ace it.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, Your Energy Saving Solutions. What's keeping you? Your Energy Saving Solutions can connect you with the SA government initiative called REPS. To save money on heating this winter, Yes is offering eligible households a 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system for only $699. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
If you love your home but you've never been in love with your kitchen, well, the answer is not far away.
Not at all. It's just 15 minutes up the freeway, because that's where you'll find Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It boasts the largest kitchen design showroom in the Adelaide Hills, and it's a family business with 35 years' experience, so they care about taking care of you.
And their expertise goes further than kitchens. They can create laundries, linen cupboards, robes, vanities, plus all cabinet installations are backed by a 10-year warranty.
Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not too far to go to make your dream kitchen a reality. See more at balhannakitchens.com.au.
Winter is coming, but the forecast isn't all bad, as the Olympic Industries winter sale is on now. Expect strong savings across our entire range of sheds and more. Step out and grab a deal. Olympic Industries, built to last.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A possible shower in 21 with the 7:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. physioextra.com.
We're being warned to brace for GFC-era pain as the economy worsens. The nation's financial misery index is climbing, with the cost of transport among what's soaring. There's growing expectations the Reserve Bank will hike interest rates again tomorrow. It would mean the average mortgage would be slugged an extra $17,000 due to the combined tax rates. Business groups have launched a major ad campaign waging war on proposed industrial relations changes. The sector says same job, same pay provisions will lead to lower wage growth and fewer jobs. The new laws will be introduced later this year and would prevent companies paying their contractors less than their employees. But Minerals Council Chief Executive Tanya Constable says the federal government isn't listening to the concerns of industry.
We want to see policies that provide flexibility for businesses. We want to see this sort of policy that rewards hard work for individual workers, and that's really important for everybody.
A large number of international students are exploiting Australia's visa system. Georgia Kondek has details.
Leaked government documents reveal a growing number of people with study visas aren't studying. International students are abandoning university courses for cheaper private colleges and then go on to work instead of study. The memo also reveals the Federal Education Department knew about the issue for the last 18 months but have taken little action. Home Affairs has begun issuing visa cancellations last week to some international students, but it's not clear how many have been handed out.
A man armed with a knife has robbed a service station on Port Road at Woodville West. He stole a small quantity of cash and cigarettes before riding off on a push bike. The staff member wasn't injured. The thief was wearing a green balaclava, grey jumper and black pants. A man will face court today following an alleged assault and fire at a home in Karakalinga. Police allege 3 people were bashed minutes before the home went up in flames early yesterday morning. A 37-year-old man's been charged with causing serious harm and arson. India's railway minister has suggested a signal fault led to the country's rail disaster, with a change in electronic interlocking the likely cause. The death toll has been revised down to 275 after some bodies were counted twice. A sonic boom has shaken the US Capitol in Washington, D.C. Here's US correspondent Jonathan Kersley.
Authorities in the area of Annapolis in Maryland have confirmed the loud noise was caused by a flight authorised from the Department of Defence. A sonic boom is shockwaves created when something travels faster than the speed of sound. America's Federal Aviation Administration has also confirmed a light plane crashed in nearby Virginia. It's not yet known if the two incidents are linked.
Experts say more needs to be done to effectively manage prostate cancer. New data shows the number of men diagnosed with the disease is significantly outpacing population growth. Prostate Cancer Foundation of Australia Chief Anne Savage says although survival rates have improved, case numbers continue to rise.
So it's something that we need to pay attention to in terms of how we manage this disease moving forward and in understanding what it means for all of us and the health system.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get better bang for your buck with Aussie Broadband this end of financial year at aussiebroadband.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide has some major selection headaches ahead of this Friday night's clash against the Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium. Skipper Tom Jonas and forward Orazio Fantasia both got through yesterday's clash in the Sandful, while Charlie Dixon and Travis Boak will both be pushing to return from injury. The Crows will recover at West Lakes with confirmation defender Tom Duday will miss the rest of the season with a knee injury. Meantime, Richmond has beaten GWS in a thriller with Marlon Pickett kicking the winner at Giants Stadium as the Tigers won by 6 points. The Giants have now played in 9 games with the margin less than 3 goals this season, losing 5 of them. Giants coach Adam Kingsley says it was frustrating.
Felt like we had plenty of chances. Thought the game was played the way we wanted it to play. There were some things we needed to do better. Clearly, but all in all, I was pretty happy with the game, just not the result.
And in the late game, Essendon beat North Melbourne by 6 points. Well, the Memorial Tournament in Ohio is headed for a playoff between Norwegian Victor Hovland and American Denny McCarthy. McCarthy needed a par on the final hole and was in big trouble before salvaging a bogey to force a playoff.
Heading to a playoff. That's a pretty gutsy putt right there.
Audio there thanks to Fox. Briefly elsewhere, Josh Hazlewood's been ruled out of the World Test Championship final against India beginning at Lord's on Wednesday night. And Max Verstappen has won the Formula One's Spanish Grand Prix ahead of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
First Watermaid to look out for at Newton today. Gorge Road near Campbell Road. Speeds out at 25 with a lane out of action there. Port Adelaide, truck has lost its trailer on Perkins Drive near St Vincent Story, causing a few delays. Busy at the moment, South Road, Edwardstown, with speeds reduced for new asphalt works there. And look out for cameras this morning. Majors Road, O'Halloran Hill and Osmond Terrace at Norwood. Disconnected workflow slowing your business growth? Launch yourself into the digital stratosphere with the new and improved MYOB business management platform. Try it for free. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A possible shower in 21 today. Tomorrow, sunny at first and then showers in the afternoon, a high of 23. Wednesday, showers with the chance of a thunderstorm, 20, and showers on Thursday down to 17. At the moment, 16. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Book a test drive of the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today. Visit gocherry.com.au.
23 minutes to 8. John Blake coming up before 8 o'clock this morning. Then after 8, we'll have Breaking at 8, the movie bowl, and a story that we've been following for a long time. In fact, the length of the story, the fact that it's run this far is an interesting component of it, but it's one that comes with a happy ending. Remember the Edwardstown bike jumps saga?
That was a Breaking at 8.
It was a Breaking at 8.
And I reckon it was a Breaking at 8 that prompted the Transport Minister, Tom Koutsantonis, to ring in saying, I'm going to step in on this. I'm going to get the department to look at it.
Well, we can reckon...
Was it that one or was it a different one? Because there's been a few of these.
There's been a few. I think it was this one. It's come full circle then.
There's one, I think, in West Hindmarsh. There's been...
They went through a period, it was like the US shooting down spy balloons, wasn't it? It suddenly became, for about a week, every kid's jumps...
It's just another example of how councils are structured around listening to the squeaky wheel. If the three people who complain Oh, there's planks lying around. It's a trip hazard. Well, walk around the plank.
Yeah.
Most of us can see a plank and go, I'd better not, trip over that. It's exactly the sort of thing kids should be doing. Hey, speaking of kids, I don't know, Will, since you've become a parent, have you drifted at all into the world of KidSpot?
KidSpot? No.
The website KidSpot seems to be an engine, sort of a search engine for parents going toe to toe about who's doing parenting the right way and the wrong way. I don't think there's anything that flushes out the level of judgment more than
I'm glad I don't know about
the blog piece of the parent going, I only bathe my children once a fortnight. Well, good on you.
Okay.
And then cue 9,000 responses. You're an idiot. The children should be taken out of your hands by the Department of Department of Family Services. In a perverse kind of way, this next show touches on some of that because it gives a unique real-time insight into the different styles that different parents have. The program is Parental Guidance, and the host is Ali Langdon, who I haven't spoken to for years. Ali, it's Dave Pemberthy here. Good morning. Good to be chatting to you again.
Hello. Nice to chat to you guys. How you going?
We're good, thanks, Ali. Now, this is the second season of Parental Guidance. What sort of differing parenting styles are we going to see this time?
Okay, I don't know about you. For one, I didn't even know there were so many different type of parenting styles. It's just I sort of always feel like there's crap, and then the next day not quite so crap. That's how mine works anyway. But this time around, we've got our outback parents, and so you sort of see these kids, and they're little, and they're riding cows, and they're shooting guns, and they're typical outback kids. You've got the teen parents who I just love because their house is chaos, and there's 5 kids, and they raise them like a footy team. And all the footy analogies, and there's no iron.
Did you say 5 kids?
5 kids.
Wow.
Yep. And it's fantastic. I kind of half the time it's like I just want to live in that house, and then the other time it's like, oh my god, there's no way I could survive 2 days with that lot.
How do you manage the sort of concerns of some of the parents who take part in the show? Like when you've got those sort of super paranoid helicopter parents who wrap their kids in cotton wool, and invariably their kids get put with some sort of, frontiersman dad who's out there teaching them how to use Bowie knives, and mum's out there, catching rabbits with her bare hands. Do some of the parents get a bit freaked out by the impact of these differing parenting styles on their own children?
Well, we sort of actually changed it from the first season a little bit. So everyone sort of stays in their own family unit, and then at the end, they're the sort of the winning teams that are all voted by the other parents. And when we say winning teams, it's not even really saying, okay, that parenting style is better than others, but it's the parents all vote themselves. And like you see in some of the challenges, parents have these huge wins, and you go like, oh no, okay, I'm drinking that Kool-Aid. That's how I'm going to parent like that. And then there's like an epic fail next time around. You go, you know what? It's just a bit like the rest of us. Good days and bad days.
I know, one of the features of this season, Ali, is looking at raising kids in the digital age with all the things that entails, bullying online, all sorts of material that you don't want kids getting access to, what happens in the world of online gaming and so forth, which is an interesting sort of common ground. These are families from different worlds, but they're having to deal with this one same massive issue that I think all parents listening to are probably having to deal with at the moment. What did you glean from the different approaches to dealing with raising kids in the digital world from these families?
I mean, I think I found this probably the most interesting part of the whole series, because every parent came in and everyone expressed concern about how they parent in this age, and the influencer parents were pretty interesting in sort of how much access their kids get to being online. Our very first episode is online gaming, and so the kids are all playing a game, and it's the challenge we do with the Australian Federal Police, and they're approached by someone who they think's a kid who's actually they're not a police officer, but could be, a predator, and how the kids handle it. So you get one set of one family who say, look, you know what, we don't want to open that can of worms. We want our kids to be kids as long as they possibly can. Our daughter doesn't even know this game. She starts playing. It's immediately obvious that she knows how to play the game. So she's playing it at a mate's house. And then the information that she gives up really quickly is terrifying. And so it's actually important, I think, to have a challenge like this and to see how a couple of the kids engage, a couple of them work out it's pretty suspicious early on. And that all comes back to how much of a conversation families are having at home. And look, I fall into this category because I think technology kind of scares me a little bit. And it's just like, I just don't want to know. Get the kids outside and play. Don't have them on screens. It's not the world we live in. They're exposed to it. And if they're not doing it at home, they're doing it at their mate's house. And you need to make sure they've got all the tools so that they can protect themselves online. The last thing we want is our kids giving up their address. I live here and come and meet me. So it's a really important challenge because I think it'll start a lot of conversation at home, I hope.
Yeah, and they're hugely important conversations to have. I think, too, parents are probably a bit naive about how early they need to have these conversations because the people who manipulate these different games and that, like, they've got no qualms about the age of the child who's using the device. It's a terrific show. It's a great concept, Ali. It's been great having you on. So Parental Guidance Season 2 premieres tonight on Channel 9 and 9 now at 7:30pm. Great talking to you, Ali. Thanks for joining us.
Good to talk to you guys. Thank you.
15 minutes to 8. Well, I found all that vaguely terrifying. It's amazing how this... Yep. It's weird, isn't it? Like 8 months ago I would have gone, well, that's a story that's very concerning. And today I feel, very scared about it. Now, there's been another development in the world of television. Matt Shervington has been named the new Sunrise co-host. Just been announced.
Snubbed.
Well, I mean, I'm sure I'll get an explanation.
What's the new gambling warning? Think about what you could have spent your money on.
Yes.
If anyone gone on you at $8, they've done their dough.
You're a
there was no market. I was just making.
No,
it up.
You're making it up. If you did make it up, you would have made money like the betting agencies always do, because you had the short price favourite came in Shervo.
Yes,
which is no surprise. He's been groomed for a long time. He's appeared on weekends.
Yeah, he's been doing that for years now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. It'll be a different flavour and different approach to Koshy, who's been in the seat for decades. Let us know what you think, Sunrise viewers. 82230000. If you watch Shervo, you've seen him do his work on the weekends, give us a review. You can text us too on the Duttons text line, or jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream and leave us your thoughts. We're going to check traffic and come back with more in just a moment. Don't miss out on 3-portion Paradise bonus draws, deadline midnight Friday, homelottery.com.au.
Good morning. Burst waterway to look out for this morning at Newton Gorge Road near Campbell Road. Speeds of 25 down to one lane both directions. Port Adelaide, a truck has lost its trailer on Perkins Drive near St Vincent Street, causing a few delays. Busy at the moment. South Road at Edwardstown with speeds reduced for new asphalt works there, just near Castle Plaza and Bunnings. And look out for cameras Wakefield Road in the city and the Southern Expressway at Lonster. The Milwaukee tax time sale is on this Thursday, Friday and Saturday at Toolkit Depot. Get great deals and bonus batteries on selected Milwaukee products. Hurry! Sale ends Saturday. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
3 words your friends and family never like hearing.
We're moving house.
Well, you can always rely on Budget Truck and Car Rentals to help out. From 3-ton moving trucks you can drive on a car licence to vans and moving trailers. Budget Car and Truck Rentals make it easy as to move house. Do it right in half the time and save money with Budget Car and Truck Rentals. Call 13 27 27.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift.
Now, it's never too hard to imagine having the perfect bathroom at home, but the question is, what does it really cost?
Well, that is one of the great things about Biourban Bathrooms and Kitchens. When they renovate a bathroom, they do it to suit your budget. In fact, David Cox and the incredible team at Biourban can show you how to do a lot more with less. They plan every detail, and it means you'll know exactly how much it will cost and what the outcome will be.
And look, it's worth it because your bathroom is without doubt one of the most important rooms in your home. It's an investment too. Get it right and it will add incredible value and appeal to your home. Get it wrong and you'll be stuck with the darn thing forever.
For bathrooms, visit buyurban.com.au, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Some builders think a sloping block has limitations. When Beechwood Homes look at a sloping block, they think, the possibilities. Beechwood Homes know how to make the most of a sloping block. In fact, they specialise in them. Beechwood will design a home that works with the land you have, taking full advantage of every square metre. So if you're looking at a sloping block, go for it. Beechwood has your back. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
What's the best thing about winter? Definitely the Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer Special. Get super cozy with up to 40% off. That's up to 40% off our entire range of curtains and blinds, including our energy-efficient window coverings. With Bob Burns Blinds, you'll get that quality show home look, and you'll save money on energy bills by trapping the heat in your home. Get set for winter now with a Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer Special. Book your free measure and quote at bobburnsblinds.com.au. 5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Emoda 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
11 minutes to 8, John Blake coming up in just a moment. 5AA's Best of SA is not too far away. What are we, 11 days out? Friday the 16th of June, Adelaide Oval. We are celebrating and profiling some of the great brands in our state. Today, Dave Benson Caravans.
We are celebrating the best of SA. Today I'm at Dave Benson Caravans on Grand Junction Road at Kilburn, and I'm catching up with Shane Curnow, who's the General Manager. Shane, this apparently is the biggest undercover caravan showroom in the Southern Hemisphere. What a mouthful, but a great place to go shopping.
Absolutely. This time of year when it's pouring with rain, you can come and visit us and not get wet.
And you've got so many caravans on display. There's just so many in here. Do you know exactly how many you've got?
We carry between 90 and 110. So at the moment we're sitting about 105.
And you've got some new ones which have just arrived. Tell me about the Victory range.
So a brand new range of Victory caravans. All new layouts, size and layout to suit everybody. Full of features, fully off-road. So that they're going to really rock the market.
It sounds exciting, and it's lovely sitting inside one of them. Now, a very special caravan that you've got, it's like the Tesla of caravans. It's all electric. How does that run?
It's got a 14.3 kilowatt lithium-ion battery, 1600 watts of solar panel. This thing will run your house. You could actually plug your house into it and run your whole household off it.
Does that mean it gives you a lot more freedom about where you can go?
Absolutely. You can stay off-grid. You'll run out of water first, but the power is endless.
It sounds amazing. It sounds like a wonderful holiday. Now, you've had the Cub trailers here for a long time, but the Cub caravans have arrived too.
Yep, the new range of Cub caravans are here, all available now.
Well, it might be the middle of winter, but a great time to come and check out Dave Benson Caravans and have a chat with you, Shane. Thank you for having us here today.
Absolute pleasure, Jane.
For your chance to win 2 camping chairs and 2 tickets to our Best of SA dinner on the Friday night, the 16th of June at Adelaide Oval, give us a call right now. Hit the road with Australia's largest indoor caravan showroom, Dave Benson Caravans, Best of SA major sponsor. 8223 0055. Get calling now.
A lot of excitement among Foo Fighters fans on the Duttons text line. Saying, yep, the Foo Fighters have played at Cooper Stadium for the last few visits to Adelaide. 2018 was the last time. Katie from Kadina says they've played Coopers twice, and they played at Adelaide Oval before that. Still getting a lot of people talking about what they used to do to make a quid when they were kids. Peter in Tanunda says, my brother and I would climb the carob trees in the main street of Tanunda. We'd knock the carob pods down, rake them up, put them in wheat bags. Dad would come along later and load them into the car and take them to the local butcher, Mr. Lang, for him to feed to his pigs. I can't remember how much we got paid, but Mr. Lang was very generous. That was in the early 1960s. Good on you, Peter.
Coming up to 7 minutes to 8, breaking at 8 coming up after 8 o'clock. Right now, though, it is time for Wallace Fogg. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
Now, the latest news with Wallace Fogg. Good morning, early risers. This is Wallace Fogg with another 5AA news update. It was all fun and games on the weekend with Oz Comic Con taking over the Adelaide showgrounds. People turned up from all over South Australia with their kiddies dressed as their favourite cartoon character or superhero, or a character from their favourite movie. Some of the people who turned up, of course, were too old to be accompanied by their parents, but a fully grown adult walking around dressed as Darth Vader or a Stormtrooper or a Doctor Who Dalek is perfectly normal at Comic-Con. Some of them, of course, look to be taking it very seriously indeed, but you can get very bored sitting at home when you're dressed as Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. You also tend not to fit in down at the local pub in a Spider-Man costume. In other news, it's feared that generative artificial intelligence tools are a threat to democracy and reality itself. The art of voice cloning using AI tools is becoming more and more threatening as they get better and more convincing. Listen to this, for instance, Donald Trump.
The Russia hoax was the most atrocious weaponization of our government in American history.
That, in fact, was not Donald Trump, but a fake voice created using an artificial intelligence platform called 11 Labs, which for a small fee can be used by anybody to clone voices. So, we thought we'd try it. We attempted to clone the voice of well-known broadcaster David Penberthy and get him to say some things that he wouldn't normally say.
Hello, I'm David Penberthy, and I hate gardening.
As you can hear, the results weren't all that promising, so we tried again.
Hello, I'm David Penberthy, and I hate the taste of food in New Orleans.
And again.
My name is David Penberthy. I can't think of anything worse than being in the garden on my hands and knees planting some pathetic seedling.
We used samples of David Penberthy's actual voice so the AI software could learn what it sounded like.
My name is David Penberthy.
After some time, we decided that artificial intelligence isn't going to be taking over the world just yet. And that's the news for this Monday.
I'm Wallace Fogg.
Hey.
More FIVEAA news coming up at 8 o'clock.
Or as close as
we can get.
Hang on,
Still early days for that technology.
I tell you
Thank
what,
God.
you know that story, we didn't talk about this on air. Last week, Will sent me a link to a piece on The Guardian about a drone, a US Pentagon exercise involving the use of drones by the military, obviously. And some senior brass in the US military had written a blog post saying that in the course of this simulated battle, the AI machine that was powering the drone had killed its operator. Had worked out that the operator had like an override mechanism that could turn off the drone. So the AI was smart enough to go, well, hang on, that means if he could turn me off, he could potentially disable me and stop me from fighting the enemy. So he too is a threat. And in this, not a real person, obviously, it's simulation. But in the simulation, the operator of the drone was himself killed by the artificial intelligence machine. Well, I just noticed over the weekend, because I went to reread the story, and the US military's put out a statement saying it's not true.
Oh, have they?
Which is almost like fake news upon fake news, isn't it? He said, like, the blog post is real, but they're saying, look, this simulation thing never happened.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, I guess that's somewhat comforting.
Yeah. So no one has actually died as a result of AI yet. But, you know, we'll just watch that space.
There was a big news on 7 Sunrise program a moment ago.
Now, this time last week, I announced I was walking out on that and stepping down as host of Sunrise for 21 years.
Yes, and now the time has come to share with Australia who will be taking your seat.
Woo!
A very big welcome and congratulations to Matt
Thank you, guys. Amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Congrats, Shervo. Of
Thanks,
course, it was a bit of a surprise. Some people guessed it.
Bit of a surprise, you think?
Just a little
Possibly the worst kept secret ever.
Just a little bit. How are you feeling?
Mixed emotions, just amazing. Daunted, so excited, happy. Cannot tell you the honour and privilege this is, Koshi, particularly. A huge job and an exciting job.
Taking over the big seat, one time Australia's fastest man, now he's the host of the biggest breakfast TV show in the country.
It's a hard act to follow. Because the ratings have just been so good for so long. You know, Channel 9's been nowhere near them. But It's pretty weird. Like, Koshy's effectively been the only host they've ever had. Because he started doing it in 1997.
It's amazing. Well, he used to be the late-night economics guy.
3 years before the Sydney Olympics.
Yeah, it's incredible run. 2 minutes to 8, 5AA News is coming up. Breaking at 8, not too far away. And not the small screen, but the big we'll be talking about because the movie bowl will be making an appearance shortly.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. On time, on budget, on the job.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Southgate GWM is overstocked and all vehicles must be cleared. All models, all colours, priced to clear. Make an offer. Don't buy anything until you speak to Southgate GWM. Just 25 minutes from the CBD. Only at Southgate GWM. LVD 152780.
We all know that ASIC Couriers are a great SA family business. The whole family's involved. They support local communities, the whole lot. But they're also a business doing great things for your business.
That's right, Will. ASIC Couriers pride themselves on being able to deliver for your business in a safe and timely manner. Their drivers undergo intensive training and the ASIC compliance team regularly audit their fleet.
And with all the technology they use, things like satellite navigation, real-time GPS, it allows the ASIC Couriers team to collect your job quickly, travel on the most efficient route and make deliveries on time.
Now, it's amazing how all their tech works. It's all in real time, so you can see where it is and how far away it is. So whatever your business needs delivered, don't risk it, ace it.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware and adware remain the #1 threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, Your Energy Saving Solutions. What's keeping you? Your Energy Saving Solutions can connect you with the SA government initiative called REPS. To save money on heating this winter, Yes is offering eligible households a 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system for only $699. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A possible shower in 21 with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Hydrotherapy at Physio Extra Marion has individual sessions and classes claimable on private health and NDIS.
New data shows the country's financial misery index is at its highest level since the start of the global financial crisis in 2007. Skyrocketing mortgage repayments are being blamed. Right now, a homeowner with a $600,000 mortgage is paying almost $16,000 more each year as a result of rate hikes. And it's becoming more expensive to run a car. Figures from the Australian Automobile Association show the average cost per household per week, including financing and insurance, is about $502, up $34 on last year. Jeff Gwillim from the Automotive Chamber of Commerce is concerned with rising costs. People will avoid or delay getting their car serviced.
Don't stop looking after your car. Keep an eye on the temperature gauge, because if you cook your engine, it's all over rover, and if your oil is dirty, you're going to wear that engine out quick. So please don't stop doing the basic things.
Police are investigating a robbery at a Woodville West service station. A man armed with a knife entered the servo on Port Road and demanded cash and cigarettes. He fled on a push bike. The console operator was not injured. Police searched the area but couldn't find the suspect. A shed has gone up in flames at Richmond. Crystal Mitchell from the MFS says the blaze broke out on Marion Road just after 2.
23 firefighters arrived to find flames through the roof of the shed and surrounding properties at risk. MFS crews contained the fire to the room of origin in 10 minutes and extinguished the fire in 30 minutes. The cause was an electrical fault and damage is estimated at $50,000 to the shed, with crews preventing spread to adjoining properties.
There's been a threefold rise in threats to kill or injure politicians in the past year. Police say the number of threats and abusive letters have risen to 2,000 overall, the highest number ever recorded. Almost 3/4 of those targeted MPs, government employees, foreign embassies and diplomats. The former Liberal staffer who was accused of raping Brittany Higgins at Parliament House has described the moment the allegations were first aired as a dark day. Criminal charges against Bruce Lerman were dropped and the trial was abandoned due to juror misconduct. No findings were ever made. Mr Lerman's told Seven he didn't commit any crime.
It is a metaphorical version of a nuclear bomb or the world exploding before your eyes. You know, you're being blocked, you're being removed from group chats. I'm an extrovert, or used to be. Now I sort of live under a rock.
Indian officials have been examining the cause of a fatal rail accident. It's believed an electronic track management system malfunctioned, causing the collision of 3 trains. The death toll has been revised down to 275 after some bodies were counted twice. Prince Harry will give evidence in a phone hacking trial, becoming the first British royal to appear in the witness box since the 1890s. More from Curry-Ann Greenbank.
Last time a senior royal gave evidence in court like this was in 1891, but this week we'll see Prince Harry take on one of Britain's biggest tabloids, the Mirror newspaper group. Prince Harry wants to prove that stories that were written about him over a 2-decade period were illegally obtained, whether through phone hacking or voicemail interception or the use of private investigators. He'll be taking to the witness box to give evidence under oath. That comes at significant personal risk for him, as will open him up to being cross-examined by some of Britain's best lawyers, who will no doubt be asking very probing, very challenging questions about his accounts, all of them in open court, which means it's very public.
And former New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has a new title. She's been made a Dame in this year's King's Birthday Honours list. She says she feels incredibly humbled by her new title, even though she's a self-described Republican. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get better bang for your buck with Aussie Broadband this end of financial year at aussiebroadband.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Adelaide defender Tom Doedee will miss the rest of the season after scans confirmed a torn ACL from Saturday night's clash against Gold Coast. It's a body blow for the side and Doedee, who's out of contract at the end of the season. Meantime, Port Adelaide's players will recover at Alberton this afternoon and will begin planning for a 10th straight win. That's against the Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium on Friday night. Still on footy, and caretaker Richmond coach Andrew McWalter says he just had to find a way to win as he banked his first victory, beating the Giants in a thriller. Jack Revolt booted 5 goals in the 6-point win. McWalter says it was a good learning experience.
You got to find a way to win sometimes. Like we were under siege, we were under the pump, they hit the front, and then you just got to find a way, and our players were able to do that today.
Yeah, they certainly did. England spinner Jack Leach has been ruled out of the upcoming Ashes series. That's because of a stress fracture in his back. Australia will take on India in the World Test Championship final at Lord's starting Wednesday night, before attention turns to the battle for the urn. Well, Victor Hovland has won a dramatic playoff event at the Memorial Tournament in Ohio. The 25-year-old with a 7-footer for par to claim the win over American Denny McCarthy.
From Oslo to Ohio, Victor Hovland is the champion.
Audio there thanks to Fox. Aussie Adam Scott finished 5 shots back in a tie for 9th. Stefanos Tsitsipas, Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic have all progressed to the quarterfinals at the French Open, while on the women's side, Aryna Sabalenka is also through. And the NBA Finals continue later this morning with the Denver Nuggets taking on the Miami Heat in Game 2. The Nuggets currently lead the best-of-7 series 1-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
Good morning, at Jeps Cross. There's a smash on Bryans Road at Grand Junction Road. Fluid and debris on the road there. First water main at Newton, Corwich Road near Campbell Road. Speeds out at 25. Also a lane out of action. And Port Adelaide, couple of headaches there at the moment. A truck has lost its trailer on Perkins Drive near St Vincent Street, causing a few delays as you would expect. Busy Salisbury Highway at Port Wakefield Road with a camera this morning. Dawes Road at St Mary's. The award-winning comedy Utopia is back and sharp as ever. 8 p.m. Wednesday on ABC TV, or stream it free on ABC iView. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Possible shower and 21 today. Tomorrow sunny at first and then showers in the afternoon, 23. Wednesday showers with the chance of a thunderstorm, 20, and showers for Thursday down to 17. At the moment, 17. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Book a test drive of the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today. Visit gocherry.com.au.
8 minutes after 8.
If you're not on the live stream, you're missing out, folks. We just had a technical malfunction. He was about to... He was, saddling up, getting into full sort of, newsreader / presenter mode, as he is, keeping the show on the road, and part of his microphone just fell off.
Scared the hell out of me, actually.
Whoa, airbag!
Breaking at 8's coming up in just a moment.
What's that from, Vacation? Have we made Loose watch Vacation yet? We haven't.
No.
Surely that's got to happen at some point.
Yeah, we'll find out. Maybe, who knows what the movie bowl says in the next 15 minutes when she joins us in the studio.
Home. Swing low.
Time to break it up.
I don't know why I found that so funny, seeing that microphone fall apart on you, but I did. Hey, we're still waiting to hear the terms of reference by the state government for the inquiry that they're holding into the so-called white hands on black art scandal. I don't say that with any sense of giving them a G up, because we understand that there's a few issues that they've got to think through. But the parameters of this scandal and the allegations at the centre of it, and Greg Bear up at The Australian has led the charge, is that art purporting to be wholly and solely the work of Indigenous artists has been touched up, finessed by white people. Obviously with a view to making it more saleable, more palatable, potentially to the appetites of potential buyers. And the allegations have centred on the APY Arts Collective here in the APY lands. No relationship to the management, obviously, of the APY lands, as they've been at pains to stress. But there's a pretty big development in it overnight. The four peak bodies representing thousands of Aboriginal artists, and that is every Indigenous art centre in South Australia, Western Australia and the Northern Territory, have put out a joint statement calling on the administrator of the APY Arts Centre Collective, Sky O'Meara, to step down pending this investigation. Now, the statements that they have made, no one's prejudging Ms O'Meara. She's entitled to put a spirited defence to the allegations. Interestingly, none of the sort of white-managed arts institutions that are involved in this have come out and made any call for her to step down. But in terms of the people who are the engine room of this art, i.e. the Indigenous Australians, the ones who are telling their stories through this art, they all clearly think that while these allegations are being looked at, and the process for that could take quite some time, that she should not be holding the role as the arts administrator of the APY Arts Centre Collective. They say, we are still worried about our voices being talked over, not heard, not invited to the table when important decisions are being made about the contemporary Indigenous art industry we've built up with our own hands from nothing. So the view of the artist seems to be that they feel like they've almost been turned into cash cows for this entire thing, which is pretty much what is at the centre of the investigation by Greg. So we'll wait and see if she responds to that at all, and we will await with interest the terms of reference, which you would expect will be out within the next week or so from the Malinauskas government.
12 minutes after 8. Angus was an 11-year-old living in Edwardstown when he came up with the idea of building some jumps locally. I imagine little 11-year-old Angus wouldn't have known that 5 years from now it'd be a story that had been playing out over more than 12 months on 5AA Breakfast.
He's almost old enough to go to uni.
Here we are. He's 16 years of age now. At age 15, he got a petition together with 1,000 signatures on it when the but the jumps were set to be bulldozed. He's still working on them to this very day. And
Good on him.
The jumps have been saved, they've survived, they've endured, and they're better than ever. Thanks in large part to our listeners who joined us on, I think now what is an unofficial crusade of ours against squeaky wheelism, which is a term you used before the news, David. It's
a scourge.
It's the scourge of 3 people in a council area complaining about something, and that's what gets acted upon. Jane Stinson is the state member for Badco. Jane, this is a story that ended up with a really happy ending.
Yeah, good morning, guys. We had a terrific day yesterday. A couple of 100 locals from the Edwardstown area rocked up at what's now called the Pines. It's now got a proper name. Angus coined that name for it. And these are bike jumps that, as you said, Angus Hooper's been making by hand himself for many years since he was just 11. And what happened was last year, basically they came under threat. It looked like they were going to get bulldozed. And Angus himself rallied 1,000 signatures on a petition, rallied everyone around our community, and I got involved as well, of course. And that saw us go to Parliament, table that petition, put some pressure on the minister. You guys did your bit as well, so thank you so much for that. And we managed to save the jump. But he didn't stop there. He kept pushing to make the area as good as it could possibly be. And if you go down there now, you'll see that there's a pretty awesome tool cabinet that all his tools, which have been donated to him, are now kept in. There's seating and bird boxes that the kids at St Anthony's Primary School decorated. There's gardens and planter boxes and pathways. And, of course, there's now some warning signage saying, ride at your own risk if you're going to be using the jump.
So,
yeah.
How do we get to this position, though, Jane? I mean, it seems to be a sort of evil sort of 3-way combination of personal injury lawyers, accrual accountants working for insurance companies and local government narcs that have conspired to oversee what you could broadly describe as the death of fun.
Well, basically what happened was I got told, it's got to come down because all the neighbours are complaining about it. All the neighbours are saying it's so messy and it's so unsafe and it has to come down. Well, it took me a little while, but I figured out there was one complaint, one person complained.
Right.
And I got an avalanche of parents saying, no, you can't destroy this. My kids love it. They go down there, help out Angus, have a ride. And this has existed in some form for quite some time too, certainly more than 10 or 15 years. People have come out of the woodworks and said, we used to build jumps there when we were kids, but nothing quite as extravagant as what Angus has managed to achieve with his junior engineering skills. But yeah, I think it just snowballed into something, and everyone was so worried about the risk that they didn't actually see that the real risk is, kids not having somewhere to play and end up being inside on iPads, which is what we're all constantly complaining about.
Jane, thank you for that. Nicole Hooper is Angus's mum and has been listening in on the conversation. Nicole, good morning to you. What does Angus make of this journey that his jumps have been on? Is he aware of how big a story it became across the state?
He's aware of it, but he kind of would like to deny it and just keep building.
That's
he really
being
does.
a 16-year-old, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. He really just loves to get down there and build the jumps and then jump them. And I was really proud of him yesterday for getting up and cutting the ribbon and all that sort of stuff, because one day hopefully he can look back on this and see the enormity of what he's done just by one person starting the petition and going to Parliament and all of those big grown-up things that... he was a 15-year-old kid starting this petition on his own. I didn't encourage him to do that or suggest he do that.
Wow.
I suggested he contact Jane, but the petition was all his own work. So, yeah, we're really proud of him.
Well, he's a trailblazer for common sense, because it's the kind of thing, Nicole, I reckon so many people just go, the council said no and there's been complaints. But to actually, and finding out now there was one complaint. There were probably 73 complaints, but they probably came from the same person. Well, they would have had to have come from the same person. But, I mean, he's sort of... is he going to run for Parliament one day? I reckon he'd be someone I'd like to vote for.
I don't think he's going to run for Parliament, but, certainly he'll stand up for what he believes in, that's for sure. He said to me last night, look, Mum, if I could just go into the bush and build jumps for the rest of my life, I'd be happy.
So, does he know what he wants to do later in life? I mean, I know he's only young, but... Is he going to be an engineer or something like that? You know, start building like...
I don't think engineer, because he just loves being outside. So
Good on him.
think he'd really love to build trails if he could. And he's sort of going down the path of a little bit of carpentry at the moment is what he's thinking of starting out with.
Excellent.
So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, he's just hands-on and he's just always active. He's never at home. So
that's good.
Yeah, he's always out and about.
I hope he ends up travelling the world designing jumps racing tracks for, the end result of this story is that he becomes a global export doing precisely this thing that one NIMBY clown in the Lecointsel area in Adelaide said he shouldn't do. But
yeah, exactly.
It's a happy story for him and everyone gets to use the track. So good on him and good on you, Nicole. You sound like a lovely family. Thanks for chatting.
Thank you.
Nicole Hooper
Thanks
there.
for your time.
And Jane Stinson as well. Imagine like in 2023, and wearing your TV hat, Will. So you go to a meeting, you call everyone together, right, we've got this thing, we're going to do it once a year on a Sunday down at the bay where people make structures, flying machines, if you will, out of common items found in their sheds. Chicken wire, balsa wood, nails, L-shaped brackets that are going to be screwed in. You might go to Cheapest Chips and get a propeller hat and maybe a large tub of Aquadeer and cover yourself with feathers. And you're going to run at speed off the Glenelg jetty and whoever goes the farthest wins. I reckon you'd get arrested on the
Just
spot
for the idea.
for even suggesting something as demented as the Birdman Rally. Like, imagine trying to do that now. Imagine trying to get
you can't.
Legal and insurance, and then the OC Health and Safety people, the busy boards with the clipboards, running around going, "Hello,
but imagine,
are you mad?"
But I look at it this way.
Mad?
Imagine going back to the year of the Birdman Rally and telling everyone who's participating in that or alive at the time, one day not only will this be banned, but riding bikes at jumps in a neighbourhood will be considered too dangerous to do.
Totally.
Yet, ironically, it's often people that live through that period are making the complaints.
Oh, well,
Which I struggle to sort of pass.
Yeah.
I don't...
Well, I think we found out there's not many people complaining.
Yeah, we should always
We don't
keep that in
need an
perspective.
entire tier of government to cater for that one person who's got no joy in their life. They probably get upset by the sound of children having fun.
Absolutely.
And that's really sad if they do. But that's probably it. There's just like this sort of... some people complaining about balls. I can hear kids bouncing balls. Well, that's good.
Yeah. The saddest thing would be never hearing a kid bouncing a ball.
Yeah.
20 after 8. Lucy's trying to hold up movie bowl
Sorry,
envelopes
Luce.
to the light to see what's in them. So what we're going to do is we'll check traffic and we'll find out what she's watching in just a moment. Don't miss out on the 3-portion Paradise bonus draws. Deadline midnight Friday. Homelottery.com.au.
Thanks, Will. At Mawson Lake's got a multi-vehicle smash to look out for. It's on the Salisbury Highway near Eldersmith Road. Very solid delays in all directions. Jeps Cross, another collision. This one's Brian's Road at Green Junction. Road fluid and debris there. And Port Adelaide, a truck has lost its trailer. It's on Perkins Drive near St Vincent Street, causing a few delays and a few headaches, as you'd expect. Cameras this morning, Chandler's Hill Road, O'Halloran Hill. And got one right now, the Southern Expressway at Lonsdale. At Coles Express, score free limited edition 4 and 20 socks when you purchase 2 4 and 20 pies or sausage rolls for $7. Hurry while stocks last at Coles Express. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Here's Ken Hinkley on the winning streak.
We're going after not just 9, we're hoping to get to 10 and 11 and whatever that is. We're going to go as far as we can.
9 straight since the untenable line in the sand moment.
The whole club has done a mark.
Drew a line in the sand.
And has jumped over that line to the good side and just powering on.
Rowie and Timmy G.
No one predicted 9 straight, not even Kenny, Koshy or you, Timmy.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware and adware remain the #1 threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
Winter is coming, and it's bringing heavy rain, gusty winds and roaring thunder. But the forecast isn't all bad, as the Olympic Industries winter sale is on now. Expect strong savings across our entire range, including sheds, garages, carports and verandas. So step out and grab a deal. The Olympic Industries winter sale is on now. Olympic Industries, built to last.
If the cost of living is stopping you from buying a new car, well, the new FIVEAA Motor 5 from Cherry Glen Osmond changes everything. It's just 33,000 drive away, and you'll be sitting behind the wheel of the most well-equipped and tech-savvy car in its class. It looks $1 million just without the price tag, and it's available for immediate delivery too. Remember that thing? You buy something and you get it? That's right, there's no waiting whatsoever. The FIVEAA Motor 5, it drives beautifully. It includes features like voice-activated control, customisable coloured interior lighting, 360-degree camera, parking sensors, CarPlay, 7-year warranty, 5-star safety, and fixed-price servicing. You get all that, 33k drive away with immediate delivery. You've got to book a test drive of this incredible vehicle. Visit gocherry.com.au or call into Cherry Glen Osmond, right next to Formula Honda.
Please don't hold this against me, but if buy urban bathrooms and kitchens is not your thing, well, that's that's okay. I mean, if people gushing over your new kitchen and bathroom means nothing to you, nothing at all, that's completely fine, I guess. But if you do appreciate millimetre-perfect craftsmanship and service of the highest standard, start here. Buyurban.com.au, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the FIVEAA Motor 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
.24 after 8. Treasurer Stephen Mulligan coming up on 5AA Breakfast after 8:30. Bit over a week away from the state budget. Reserve Bank meeting tomorrow. Will that add to cost of living pressures for South Australians? If you've got a view on what should be in the budget or what the focus of the state government should be, let us know what it is. Dutton's text line 0480 1395. Or give us a call right now on 8223 0000. Luce is in the studio, as is the movie bowl. Morning to you, Luce.
Good morning. Keen for today.
So I think we can promise you, Luce, I don't think you're going to have to watch like a Fight Club style film after last week. Well, who knows?
Someone suggested Pulp Fiction v Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, which is... I love both those movies. I'm going to play
no part in suggesting that you ever watch Pulp Fiction, Luce. I don't want you to...
I think we might have
look at me and say...
It's not that bad. Is it?
What, bring out the gimp? Seriously?
Okay. Times have changed. The movie category today, Luce. Best family movie.
So the total
and it is Pulp Fiction.
Versus Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Opposite of Fight Club, I see.
No, best family movie. I like this. E.T. v Mrs. Doubtfire. E.T. v Mrs. Doubtfire. E.T. from 1982. Box office made $793 million. Mrs. Doubtfire from 1993. Box office made $442 million. I'm a firm E.T. vote here.
I love E.T.
E.T. is just...
Don't try and sway the cause.
Sorry, you're right. We're not allowed to do that, are we? We broke our own rule. Of course, we don't care which movie you pick. 8223 0000. Get voting now. E.T. or Mrs. Doubtfire for the ultimate family movie.
And also, Lisa, I'm never going to say again, you're going to love this film, because every time I say that, it gets 2 stars.
Yeah, you're jinxing it in your own way.
You're finding you might have just a very different taste in the world of films. 8223 0000. Pick which movie you'd like to Luce to review and watch next. It's E.T. or Mrs. Doubtfire. Scott in Glenunga, good morning.
Good morning, boys. Good morning, Luce.
What do you got, Scott?
I think this is a hands down, like at that time, like 1982, I love riding my BMX bike, and it's E.T. hands down. I've seen it at the pictures in Hindley Street. That cinema's gone, but it was amazing.
The old Greater Union, good on you, Scott.
Did you watch Stranger Things on Netflix, Luce?
Did not.
Okay. The whole thing is like a very kind and warm rip-off of E.T., I think, in terms of feel. Craig in Salisbury East, good morning.
It's got to be Mrs. Doubtfire. Come on.
Thank you.
All right, there we go. 1-1.
Thank you, Craig. I love the passionate movie bowl callers. Ralph, good morning.
Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire, without a doubt.
Wow.
One of Pierce Brosnan's greatest roles.
Thank you.
And carry on.
Thank you, Ralph. Mel, good morning.
Hello, Mrs. Doubtfire, hands down, best family movie ever. The kids and I still watch it, and they're 20 and 18.
Wow, Mrs. Doubtfire out to a lead here.
3-1.
Stacey in Richmond, good morning.
Hello, I love E.T. I just think that was so special.
Yep, thank you, Stacey.
Good on you, Stacey.
Doris in North Adelaide, good morning.
Good morning, E.T. for me.
Oh,
have we got a tie?
We've got a tie.
I think we got a next call wins.
We've got a
scenario.
3-all tie.
All right,
at the moment.
we've never had a 3-all tie before.
Oh, this is so exciting.
82230000. Next call decides what movie Lucy's watching, Mrs. Doubtfire or E.T. for the best family film.
It's not like Parliament where you have the casting vote, is it, Will? No.
Oh, you mean like the speaker?
Yeah.
You're saying I'm the Mike Pence of this
Well, you are.
scenario?
Hopefully not on January the 6th, you know.
Oh, is someone going to storm Hindmarsh Square?
That's right.
Demanding
Wearing-
Mrs. Doubtfire?
wearing bullhorns.
Well, we've got a decider.
The
Here we
deciding
go.
vote is Louise in Marden. Good morning, Louise.
Hello! It has to be Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire has won it.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Louise. That's
Well done.
that's what you'll be watching, Louise.
I honestly thought it was going to be a bit of the old E.T.
It blows my mind that E.T. didn't win, but I think I stuffed it up by saying I wanted
So
it to
you
win.
jinxed it, but
I jinxed it.
I preemptively cut up some of the old famous line that I won't be getting to watch.
E.T. phone home.
Yeah.
E.T. phone home.
It's such a beautiful
Oh, well,
movie.
that movie
Little
will
Drew
have to-
Barrymore.
have to wait
anyway,
for the old
doesn't
record
matter.
charge.
No one wanted you to watch it.
It is funny, isn't it, how you can become so emotionally involved with like a little, rubber alien made by Steven Spielberg and his mates. I
Great.
find that film hard to get through without crying.
Oh, it's really emotional. You're right. It's so stupid.
He's like a couple of old rubber gloves he found under his sink that stick some eyes on and make a movie
Oh
about
my
it.
God. Oh, it's the
And next thing you know, you're crying like an idiot.
All right. Well, Mrs. Doubtfire, it's going to be anyway. You ain't two crying blokes in the studio. 5AA News and
You
the
lost all
Treasurer
your LA
next.
privileges.
What's the best thing about winter? Definitely the Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer Special. Get super cozy with up to 40% off. That's up to 40% off our entire range of curtains and blinds, including our energy-efficient window coverings. With Bob Burns Blinds, you'll get that quality show home look, and you'll save money on energy bills by trapping the heat in your home. Get set for winter now with a Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer Special. Book your free measure and quote at bobburnsblinds.com.au.
Well, by now, everyone knows about Call Me Continence products.
Course. Well, word was bound to get out.
Leaks?
Not a chance. Call Me has scientifically designed leak guards.
Ooh, effective?
Well, had the US Army used them,
Yeah?
we never would have heard of the Ecuadorian embassy.
That's some protection.
And if you're on a home care package or an NDIS participant, Call Me will give you a free trial pack worth up to $100.
Oh.
Just go to callme.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A possible shower in 21 with the 8:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. PhysioExtra.com.
Millions of households are bracing for another interest rate rise. New data from the Uni of Melbourne shows the country's financial misery index is at its highest level since the start of the global financial crisis in 2007. A homeowner with a $600,000 mortgage is now paying almost $16,000 more each year. Economists say whether the Reserve Bank will raise rates again tomorrow will be a close call. A major ad campaign has been launched taking aim at proposed changes to industrial relations laws. Here's Zach De Silva.
Business groups claim a planned overhaul of IR rules will lead to lower wage growth and fewer jobs. They've launched a multi-million-dollar ad campaign and say it'll run indefinitely if need be. Tanya Constable from the Minerals Council says the changes mean employers wouldn't be able to reward more experienced staff with higher pay.
The government is not listening to our concerns.
But Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers has told the ABC the laws would make sure companies don't pay contractors less than their employees.
It's about closing loopholes.
The government plans to introduce the changes later this year.
It seems support for the voice to Parliament's dwindling. Less than half the country will vote yes, according to the latest news poll. Those wanting to vote no's increased to 43% from 39%, and 11% are undecided. Police are investigating a service station robbery at Woodville West overnight. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says a man entered the servo on Port Road armed with a knife.
He stole a small quantity of cash and some cigarettes and was last seen leaving the area on a push bike towards Jervis Street. Now, thankfully, the staff member wasn't injured. Patrols searched the area, but they couldn't find him. He's described as wearing a green balaclava, a grey jumper and black pants.
A man's due in court today accused of assaulting 3 people before setting fire to a house at Carrickalinga yesterday morning. The victims, a woman and 2 men, suffered non-life-threatening injuries, but 2 were taken to hospital for treatment. A 37-year-old local man was arrested trying to leave the scene on a motorbike. Significant damage has been caused to the house. The widow of MasterChef stars Doc Zonfrillo has spoken out for the first time since his death. Lauren posted on her late husband's Instagram page thanking his followers for their support.
I just am overwhelmed by the messages that came in from people all over the world that knew him or didn't know him. I really wish that he knew how loved he was and he knew the impact that he had on so many people.
US fighter jets have scrambled in Washington, D.C. after a light plane violated airspace. More from US correspondent Jonathan Kersley.
Residents of Washington, D.C. say they felt a loud boom, which was confirmed to have come from a US military aircraft. American authorities have confirmed jet fighters were responding to a plane that violated airspace. The pilot of that plane was reportedly unresponsive. The jet fighters then caused a sonic boom, shock waves that occur when planes travel faster than the speed of sound. The Cessna crashed into mountains in nearby Virginia. A US official has told Reuters news agency the jet fighters did not cause the crash.
And the US has avoided defaulting on its bills, with both houses approving an increase to the country's debt ceiling. The deal brokered between US President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy will raise the country's $31 trillion borrowing limit until January 2025. It'll also set a broad government budget over the next 2 years. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get better bang for your buck with Aussie Broadband this end of financial year at aussiebroadband.com.au.
Here's Tom Rand.
Thank you, Kendall. Disappointment for Adelaide defender Tom Doedee, with scans confirming he's set to miss the rest of the season with a torn ACL. The Crows players will recover today following a 25-point loss to Gold Coast in a result which sees them slip outside the top 8. Well, across at Alberton, Port Adelaide will focus on the Bulldogs ahead of their clash on Friday night at Marvel Stadium. The Power currently sit in second spot following a club record 9 straight wins and will consider bringing back Travis Boak, Tom Jonas and Charlie Dixon, and also potentially Orazio Fantasia. Let's go to cricket. England spinner Jack Leach has been ruled out of the upcoming Ashes series with a stress fracture in his back. Australia will take on India in the World Test Championship final at Lord's starting Wednesday night. Before attention turns to the Battle of the Urn, former Test captain Mark Taylor says he can't wait.
The Ashes series is going to be a cracker because England, under this Bazball theory they've got now, this aggressive way they're playing, they've won 11 of their last 13 Test matches. And I think we all know how our guys are playing very good, solid Test match cricket.
Red Bull's Max Verstappen has taken out the Spanish Formula One Grand Prix, his 5th win of the season. He led from start to finish ahead of Mercedes' double of Lewis Hamilton, who finished 2nd, and George Russell 3rd, driving cars with new upgrades. Aussie Oscar Piastri finished 13th in his McLaren, having started from 10th, and he says it was a disappointing race.
Didn't have a very good first lap from myself, and then we just had not a lot of pace after that, so need to understand why, because it cooled down a bit, which we liked, but still didn't have enough pace.
Piastri's teammate Lando Norris finished 17th after starting from 3rd. And Norway's Victor Hovland has won the Memorial Tournament in Ohio in a playoff with America's Denny McCarthy. Aussie Adam Scott was 5 shots back in a tie for 9th. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
At Mawson Lakes, multi-vehicle smash on the Salisbury Highway to Eldersmith Road. Very solid delays in all directions. Jebbs Cross, smash on Bryans Road to Grand Junction. Road fluid and debris there. And Port Adelaide, a truck has lost its trailer on Perkins Drive near St Vincent Street, causing a few delays. Busy at the moment, South Road at Edwardstown, just in front of of Bunnings and Castle Plaza with new asphalt that's gone down there. And look out for a camera at George Street at Norwood. Enjoy no join fees and memberships from only $7.89 per week at Zap Fitness. Limited time only. Visit zapfitness.com.au. T's and C's apply. Available on select memberships. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A possible shower in 21 today, tomorrow sunny at first and then showers in the afternoon, 23. Wednesday showers with the chance of a thunderstorm, 20, and then showers for Thursday down to 17. At the moment, 17. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Now more than ever, you need an agent who's not just out for a quick sale. You need someone who can stand their ground to ensure you're maximising your home's potential. There's a good reason Toop and Toop is defying market trends and continuing to deliver premium outcomes for its clients. With a history spanning almost 40 years and a team of unrivalled experience, Toop and Toop knows what it takes to maximise your results in any selling conditions. Visit toop.com.au to find out more.
You know Specsavers for exceptional eye care, but did you know they also care for your hearing?
That's right. You'll find qualified and accredited audiology professionals in almost 300 stores across the country, and they're here to support your journey to better hearing.
They'll take the time to understand your individual needs and can tailor solutions from their range of latest technology hearing aids, which can fit your lifestyle and budget.
When you start your hearing journey with Specsavers, you'll know what the cost will be with their upfront prices.
You may even be eligible for hearing aids at no cost to you through the Australian Government Hearing Services Program.
So to find out more, visit in-store or online at specsavers.com.au/hearing.
Conditions apply under the Australian Hearing Services Program.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Book a test drive of the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today. Visit gocherry.com.au.
21 minutes to 9, behind closed doors is not too far away. Thursday week is state budget day. The personal budget of many South Australians may be affected tomorrow when the Reserve Bank meets. And later today we'll get some more data on monthly inflation. It all feeds into a picture of personal financial stress, but also state financial stress that is the purview of our next guest, the Treasurer of South Australia, Stephen Mulligan. Treasurer, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Will, and good morning, Pembo.
Treasurer, thanks for your time. The backdrop to this budget couldn't be much tougher at the moment. We've got another RBA meeting tomorrow where there's a reasonable chance that rates will go up for a 12th time. How does that inform the document that you're framing ahead of its release next Thursday?
Well, a huge amount, and it's a point well made. I mean, households and also particularly small businesses are really struggling with the double whammy of high inflation and high prices for goods and services, but also high mortgage rates driving up mortgage costs and small business financing costs. So we're trying to find opportunities to ease the burden where we can for households and small businesses. We had the big announcement after the federal budget that we'd be joining with them and providing $250 million of energy bill relief, $500 off over 420,000 household energy bills. But today the Premier, the Education Minister and I are making a further couple of announcements related to education. We're having another year of the $100 reduction off the material and services charge. So that'll benefit 120,000 families who have got to pay that charge for South Australian public schools. And also a really important program that Blair Boyer, the Education Minister, has been championing, and that's rolling out the school breakfasts program. So for schools that are concerned that they've got kids who are turning up to school not being fed, expanding this program to up to another 150 public schools will be really important. So those are the two announcements we're making this morning.
We saw a couple of weeks ago the Victorian budget, I think, would have alarmed a lot of people in the business community, particularly in the property market, where the government there seemed to sort of go after people with investments with a view to recouping the cost of the economic cost of COVID. Stylistically, you're not going to go down that sort of path, are you, in your document next week?
No, that's right. And look, we're all very sensitive. All states and territories of all political persuasions are very sensitive that all of our states' finances, our balance sheets have taken an absolute pounding after COVID, trying to help the community and the business sector through those 2.5 really difficult years. But we made a commitment at the last election that we wouldn't be increasing taxes, that we wouldn't be introducing new taxes, because we didn't think that that's what the community needed while we were trying to recover from COVID. But I think that's doubly the case now. Not only are we've got a lot of people still trying to recover their livelihoods after COVID, and we've got many of those same people getting absolutely hammered by both inflation and higher mortgage costs. So now's not the time to be dialing up taxes, and you won't see that from us in next Thursday's budget.
So you'll be able to honour that promise?
Absolutely, yep.
You're going to have a conversation at some point in the near future, do you think, Treasurer, with the Prime Minister about the GST carve-up? Because one of the pressures that's been put on the state budget is clearly the deal that was struck with the former federal government, Scott Morrison, that gave Western Australia a significantly larger share of the GST, certainly larger than what they would have got under the old formula that didn't provide a floor to what percentage of GST contributions you'd get back from the federal government.
Oh, absolutely. This is a major pressure for every state and territory, of course, other than Western Australia. So next financial year, starting in only a few weeks' time, Western Australia is going to get an extra $5.6 billion in GST, and that's all coming out of GST collections that would otherwise go to South Australia and all the other states and territories. So next year, we estimate under the new deal will be about $375 million worse off. And of course, that's only camouflaged temporarily by this no worse off guarantee, which runs out in only 3 years. So I'm not overstating it to say that this new GST deal that was struck by the previous coalition government is the greatest act of fiscal vandalism in our federation's history. I mean, we've given billions of dollars to one state over every other state and territory, and it's happening right at the same time that they're having one of the biggest mining booms they've ever had. So that's the only state that's been able to deliver budget surpluses and amounts of largesse to its community, to its services, to its business community, the likes of which all of us would only ever dream of, and that's because they've got this incredibly unfair revenue sharing deal. So we've already been raising this at our national meeting of treasurers, and I know it's on the Premier's agenda for National Cabinet. If we don't unpick this GST deal, then the very least we need to see is a continuing on of the no worse off temporary guarantee, which is currently shielding us from the worst impacts of that deal.
So if we're getting less GST and you're not increasing taxes and you're not introducing any new ones, how do we recoup the losses that we sustained as a state from COVID? Does it mean that you have to be even more stringent than you normally would be when it comes to new spending?
Yeah, that's a big part of it, David. So we've got to make sure that we're not, we're being very careful with the investments that we're making into the future, in particular with infrastructure. We've already made it clear that we're building new tunnels to finish off the North-South corridor, that we're building a new women's and children's hospital. And that means there just isn't that much room for major new spending initiatives outside of those major projects. We can't continue assuming that we're going to keep spending at the rate that we did during COVID. It's just unsustainable for the state's finances. And, I was saying back when we were in opposition and also when I released our first budget in June last year that debt is going to increase in the state's finances over the next 6 to 7 years, particularly as we get out to about 2030, once we've delivered those two major projects. And we've got to tighten the belt when it comes to other areas of spending and other areas of investment, because we just don't have the capacity to keep spending at the run rate that the state did in 2020 and 2021 in particular when we were getting through COVID. We've taken on a lot of debt. More debt's coming. We just can't keep accelerating how much debt we're taking on.
Appreciate you can't give us specifics because the budget, as we say, is just over a week away. But how have you framed the question of what's going to happen to employment in South Australia over the next couple of years? Obviously, the out years, it's all standard, the numbers that are used. But, I mean, you've got a scenario where we've got record low unemployment, yet we've got interest rates going up. I'm sure you've got some hard economists who would say that the inflation will get under control when we see the unemployment rate rise, and people will hear that and go, hang on, that sounds horrible. But that's just the raw economics, and that's the things that go into it. How have you managed to calculate it? What's your expectation for employment in South Australia over the short term?
No, it's a really good point you make, Will. So the federal government and the Reserve Bank's got out on the front foot with this. They do expect nationally the unemployment rate to go up, and that'll obviously impact South Australia along with the other states and territories. We expect normally our employment growth, the number of new jobs being created in our economy, to increase proportionally to our population growth rate. So while we've had huge increases in our rate of employment growth, particularly in the last 18 months, well above trend and what we've experienced previously, again, we're not going to be able to continue that run rate, so we'll see employment growth moderate off quite significantly. And of course, not only are we sailing into tougher economic times across the country with the impacts of inflation and high mortgage rates, but at the same time, the federal government's made it clear that we are trying to catch up on our migration intake. So there'll be hundreds of thousands of people moving to Australia compared to what happened during COVID when the borders were closed. So that's going to place some pressure on the employment market as well. And that means that the record low levels of unemployment, the high threes, the very low fours, is going to be difficult for us to sustain as a country, and we won't be able to sustain it likewise here in South Australia as well.
Well, 9 more sleeps. All will be revealed in 10 days' time. We appreciate you giving us a bit of a sneak preview chat around what to expect. Stephen Mulligan, the State Treasurer, ahead of the presentation of his second budget. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much, David. Thanks, Will.
11 minutes to 9. Let's have a look at the fuel situation this morning. Fuel Watch, thanks to the RAA, where you can get their Fuel Watch app for free. All South Aussies can find the cheapest fuel in an instant. Download the free My RAA app. The United Pennington Torrens Road is $1.55.5. The OTR Broadview Hampstead Road is $65.5. The OTR Marion Road Marion $65.5. The Liberty Old Noarlunga Main South Road $58.5. And for diesel, the ex-convenience Jeps Cross Main North Road is sitting at $68.5. Time to check traffic. Don't miss out on 3 Portion Paradise bonus draws. Deadline midnight Friday. Homelottery.com.au.
Mawson Lakes multi-vehicle smash on the Salisbury Highway to Eldersmith Road. Very solid delays in all directions. Jeps Cross smash on Bryans Road to Green Junction Road. Fluid and debris there. And Crayford's on the freeway. A ladder has fallen off the back of a truck, literally, and it's in the left lane causing delays. That's on the up track. Busy right now, South Road at Edwardstown with the camera Rose Terrace at Wayville. Soon you'll start to see more money being paid into your super on top of your wages, going up to 12% by 2025. Guaranteed. Find out more at yoursuperguarantee.com. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA mornings, we know times are tough, but the misery index in Australia has gone up 220% in the last 12 months. And the reason for that, skyrocketing inflation and costs. The cost, in fact, of running the average family car up over $21,000 a year. But it's not all doom and gloom. We've got Professor Nicola Spurrier on as well, talking about the importance of being vaxxed. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Look forward to your company after 9.
It's Porsche and Paradise bonus time. Get your Hospital Research Foundation home lottery tickets by midnight Friday. And you could be one of 3 bonus winners to score a Porsche Macan and a Hawaiian holiday. Plus, your tickets stay in the draw for the $4 million grand prize. Don't miss out. With over 13,000 prizes, you've got a 1 in 15 chance to win. To see full details, visit homelottery.com.au. Licence M14364.
Don't just send it, ace it. I'm with Chris from ASIC Couriers, an SA family business doing great things for your business.
Thanks, Rowie. Our drivers all undergo intensive training and the ASIC compliance team regularly audit our fleet. Plus, we use the latest satellite technology to track your deliveries. No matter what it is, we can deliver it safely and on time. Visit asiccouriers.com.au.
Don't just send it, ace it.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving more on their energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solution. So, what's keeping you?
Now, if you're hoping to save money on heating this winter, your energy saving solutions can connect you with the SA government initiative called REPS. You might be eligible for a 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system, fully installed for only $699. That's right, $699.
Did you know that you might be eligible for a rebate on a new appliance like a dryer or fridge? Just visit the Yes website for a list of appliances and the size of the cashback available. Even businesses can save with Yes as well, with rebates available on LED lighting upgrades for as little as $33.
For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from your energy saving solutions, go to yews.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
At Anderson Solicitors, putting people first is second nature. No matter who you are or what your problem is, we are committed to helping find the right solution for you every time. With locations across the state, whether you need help with family law, commercial law, wills and estates or personal injury claims, talk to Andersons today. Visit andersons.com.au or phone 8238 6666. Anderson Solicitors. People first in every case.
You've decided to build? It's exciting stuff. When you've found land, it's a good idea to get advice on what you can build on your new parcel of paradise. Get Steve from Beechwood Homes to take a look. There's no obligation, and you'll get a great understanding of what's possible. Sloping block, flat block, weird shaped block, or block on a cliff. Speak with Steve from Beechwood Homes for all the possibilities. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Emoda 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
6 minutes to 9. A little bit later today during Jade Robran's program. She's got a 5AA interactive lounge on from 2:30 with Jade and disability care experts Orion Care. So if you've got a question for the disability, anything in the world of disability care, you can have a direct line to Orion Care during Jade's show from 2:30 today. Time to go behind closed doors. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed.
This is the Saturday Sports Show. KG and Cornsey.
Welcome back, folks, to the Saturday Sports Show. Graham Corns with you and the legend of South Australian sport, KG Cunningham.
That's me, Stud, and how are you, Stud, on this beautiful South Australian day, Studley?
Fine, Ken, it is a beautiful day.
It is, Studley, it is beautiful because it's South Australia, which, as we know, is the greatest place on earth.
Yes, all right. Keep the texts and emails coming through. Here's one concerning the Hawthorn racism issue.
Oh, that whole thing is a disgrace, the way that's been handled.
It says, why do we have to make the whole Hawthorn issue a racism thing?
That's right, it shouldn't be.
If the accusations are true, it shouldn't make any difference what colour a person's skin is. We'll never get rid of racism if we keep using race as part of the issue.
Yes, that's true. If it's about race, then it ultimately will be about race.
It's not a bad text, this one.
A very good text, I would have thought.
Because if you have race involved, and it's about a person's skin colour, then race will be involved.
Yes, that is right, and we won't get rid of racism unless the person bringing race into it mentions that it's not racist if that person has a different... Well, anyway, that's the main gist of it.
Yes.
But that Hawthorn thing is the biggest stuff up of all time. They took 8 months to investigate.
Well, they have to go through it thoroughly.
But 8 months?
Well.
Bloody disgrace.
But this is a very big issue, so we shouldn't talk about it.
No, we should leave that alone, Stud. The bigger the issue, the more trouble we're likely to get into if we get it wrong.
That's exactly right.
So don't mention it.
No.
And don't talk about racism.
Especially racism.
Because eventually we will say something wrong.
Yes, that's right.
In fact, we shouldn't say anything.
No, I think you're right.
All right, starting now.
What, nothing at all?
No, nothing at all from now.
So do you mean nothing at all? Or?
All right, from now.
Lots of great texts we've had over the course of the morning on the Duttons text line. See you at the brand new Duttons Mitsubishi, Hyundai and Ram showrooms in Murray Bridge, now open.
A lot of very upset ET fans as well.
Yes. Well, you got to call in.
People
That's the
calling
reality
for
of
a
it.
recount.
There's a complacency factor, I think, when there's a big favourite for the movie bowl sometimes.
Yep. You sit, sort of rest on your laurels thinking, well, there's no way ET's not going to win. Next thing you know, poor little guy.
Poor little guy. Can't phone home.
He's on his Treadley.
Lucy will never find out who he was trying to call.
That's right.
Matthew Pantelis is coming up after 6 o'clock, and we'll be after 9 o'clock, should I say, and we'll be back
Well, it is after 6
tomorrow from 6 o'clock.
It's
See you
3
then.
hours after 6 o'clock, Will.
Yeah. Well, so correct
You're right.
again.
How easily could you save hundreds off your energy bills? That easy. Switch out your gas or electric hot water system for an energy efficient heat pump with EcoVantage. Then sit back and save up